Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching or listening to us from. This is the Naija FC Podcast, where we bring you our raw, honest, unfiltered opinions on all the hottest and latest topics in the world of Nigerian football. As always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have with me yet again my reliable co host.
Smith Layi. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for joining. On today's episode, we have quite a number of topics to cover. Everything from the draws of the U20 World Cup to the Super Falcons game against Cameroon, the WAFCON schedule, a number of Nigerian players who were victorious and won trophies over the past week. And then, of course, we want to look at the Unity Cup where Nigeria triumphed against Jamaica in the final. And then also look ahead to the upcoming friendly against Russia. Let us get into it. I want us to start by just looking at the draws for the under 20 FIFA World Cup. Speedlight, Nigeria drawn in Group F against Colombia, Saudi Arabia, and of course, Norway. I know that you are very knowledgeable when it comes to the grassroots football in Nigeria, when it comes to youth players. So, looking at the group that they've put us in, how are you feeling about this one? Do you think it's going to be an easy ride for us? Do you think we're going to have it difficult? How do you feel about the 20 World Cup draw?
These on a 20 level, most of them are not really seasoned professionals, so you don't know the team that they are bringing. We all know that Saudi Arabia now there is this influx of foreign players to Saudi Arabian league, so we don't know maybe it's affecting their youth team football. There's also Norway too. Norway traditionally they are not strong on that 20 level until Erling Haaland scored 7 goals in a match. That's when we knew that. So they have this, all these Bodo Glimt, all these clubs, where they promote youth football. So maybe probably to be strong. So for me, I just think that it's not easy group like people probably thought. Colombia will face us with their overage too. So it's gonna be it's gonna be big challenge. So for me it's not really an easy group. But the good thing is that it's like the third to best placed team. We also qualify also for the second round. So maybe that's probably another good route to qualify. Not finishing last, you can have the chance to also progress even when you finish third. But for me, overall, with the performance of the team in Egypt, and the pedigree of Coach Ali Zubeiru. I don't believe in him. I think there's a lot of things he needs to do with that team. Yeah.
Hmm, hmm. And I mean, are you expecting there to be significant changes, from the AFCON squad to the squad that is going to be going to the World Cup?
Yeah, he spoke on Bira FM that there's going to be overhauling in the team. All he knows is overhauling. If he chat overhauling since Wafu, overhaul, he went to AFCON. Overhaul again he wants to go to the Wafu A and B on the 20 now. That will take place in like 2 weeks' time. So he's going to overhaul again to September. That's what he's overhauling. Maybe he's overhauling thinking I can attract agents to come because for me, I don't believe in him. I just think that there's some areas, in fact, majority of these boys that went to AFCON should be changed. We have better players that can fit in at
Hmm.
this category. One of them played against Jamaica, who we'll talk about later. So, which I think that he can qualify, is still eligible to play under 20 football. And there's still a lot, with Vince Osuyi, for Club Brugge. He's above all those guys. So, I think he can still do a lot of things with his team, than
Hmm.
to be calling players from Grasshopper and players from Adoration FC. There's more to be to this team than that.
Adoration FC is loud. But I mean, the tournament kicks off in September, so we're not going to get too deep into that conversation right now. The draws
Mm-hmm.
were made, so I just wanted to bring that to everyone's notice. And
Mm-hmm.
when the tournament gets closer and closer, trust us, we will talk about it. We'll give you guys updates, all the things you need to know. And of course, we look forward to seeing what Coach Ali Zuberi does with the team. Okay, let us move along very, very quickly and let us get into conversation about the Super Falcons. The
Mm-hmm.
Super Falcons, the schedule, finally, glory be to God, CAF has released the schedule for their matches at the WAFCON in 2024. WAFCON 2024 coming up in July of 2025. The group stage draws were done since last year, but we finally got the schedule. The Super Falcons will kick off against Tunisia on July the 6th. Then they face Botswana on July the 10th before wrapping up against Algeria on July the 13th. All games are going to be played in Casablanca, Morocco. Smilai, looking at the fixture list, starting against Tunisia, then going to play Botswana, then Algeria. How are you feeling in terms of confidence? What do you think this is going to be light work for the Super Falcons, or is there any nerves?
Oh, this group should not be easy. It should not be say, tough group for Falcons. Playing against Tunisia, the best team in North Africa is actually Morocco. But at this level, playing against Tunisia and also against Algeria at this stage, I just think that it should be a 9 points out of nine for Falcons. In fact, if Falcons fail to have 9 points out of nine in this, I think they should sack coach. Osima to go even before going to the quarterfinals. Also, because for me, I think that it should be a light work. The best team in this group after Nigeria should be Tunisia.
Mm,
Tunisia did good job. The last AFCON, they nearly qualified for the World Cup. You know that I think they played against, they lost against Cameroon in the continental playoff or so. So they did well. They did well. So and they have been building since then. To Algeria, came to Nigeria for like two-legged friendlies.
mm.
We won the first one, I think it was 2-0 or so. And so beat them when we 4-1 in the second game.
Yeah.
So I just think that they are also just doing something. They are working towards something. So I hope that we can do well against them this time around. Botswana will not be easy. Will not be a easy team. You all know how these East African
We played
uh,
them in our group last time.
last time
Botswana.
around. So, and if you have been watching Kosafa Cup very well, they have been improving. They call it the national challenge. They need to play the Kosafa, where South Africa will be playing them. Though they used to beat them, but still, you can know that they can bring a challenge. All these teams, and they form low block. They want you to come at them so that to should break them down. And sometimes when they play against South Africa, they used to form low block.
Mm.
Make it very difficult for you to actually break them down. So, but for me, I think any close game should be Nigeria against Tunisia. I think Botswana and Algeria should be a light work.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think I'll say minimum 7 out of 9, and the reason why I say seven is I'm just allowing for the possibility that you've won your first 2 games in the group. Then the third game, you decide, okay, let's rest some players, let's give some fringe players the opportunity, and maybe because you rotated your squad, you might get a draw and not be able to win. But I think Tunisia should probably be the toughest game. I think the last WAFCON, Tunisia lost against, was it South Africa beat them, I think maybe in the group stage, and then they lost
Mhm.
against Cameroon or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But Tunisia a decent team, although we expect the Super Falcons to triumph over them. The only thing that would make me slightly nervous is the fact that our preparation for this WAFCON has not been it at all. The NFF, as much as they are trying to say, oh, Mission 10, as much as they are trying to act like, oh, the Super Falcons need to go for this 10 title, they are not putting in the behind the scenes effort that
Mhm.
would match what they are trying to portray on social media. The Super Falcons are supposed to be playing a game tomorrow. I believe that the game is going to hold, but they should have already played one game against Cameroon. Unfortunately, Cameroon did not seem too interested in coming to Nigeria for the match, so they arrived late. The first game had to get cancelled essentially, and then this second match is happening. Even though there were already concerns about the fact that half of the squad was not called up for this preparation match. The only other chance that they're going to have to play games before the WAFCON is going to be in the pre-WAFCON camp. So
Mhm.
it's a bit crazy to me that you don't like all the other core players in the team, the Okoronkwas, the Plumters, all those ones are not going to be there. Then you just call them for maybe 2 weeks before the WAFCON and you expect them to all just click into gear and then go and win the 10th title. I hope it happens, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to knock any of the players at all. I'm not going to criticize them. It is it is incredible how we do things in Nigeria. We've spoken about this fire brigade approach that we have to things so many different times. And I don't know if it is also just maybe something in the Super Falcons of trying to trying to just push the home based players and give them opportunity to be seen more, trying to convince us that, oh, there's quality in the NWFL, there's quality in the MWFL. But when you're claiming to want to go and win a tournament, you have to give the best legs the opportunity to prepare properly And this is something that after the Olympic Games, after the World Cup in 2023, when I interviewed a series of Nigerian Super Falcons players, they kept on talking about we need continuity, we need games. This group needs to stay together. We need to keep improving on the things that we've done. And for whatever reason, they just don't seem to want to help us to continue improving. I think it is a bit crazy how things are going. But at the end of the day, I really do hope that our Super Falcons are able to go and get that victory. Somebody is saying that we're going to play against Portugal. Yeah, we heard the news. We need, but that's in the pre-WAFCON friendly essentially because the game is currently slated for June 23rd. Our
Mm-hmm.
first game in the WAFCON is July 5th. So
Fifth.
obviously this
The
game
list
is,
already out.
yeah, by this the game is 2 weeks before the WAFCON is supposed to start. So that's what I'm talking about. It is just the last minute preparation. Maybe you give them 1, 2 matches and expect that they will go to the tournament and blow everyone out the park. And unfortunately, a lot of fans will not necessarily know how the preparation has been bad. And if we don't play well, then they're going to start insulting the players and saying all sorts of things. But looking forward to tomorrow's game against Cameroon, Smilai, it's going to be a mix of experienced professionals and some new players from the NWFL, as well as some that have been there before from the NWFL. But what are you expecting for tomorrow's game against Cameroon?
It's another, any game against Cameroon, just like our neighbors, our noisy neighbors, Ghana. It's not really a friendly game. It's a game that it's going to be high stake game, high pressure game. Both sides wants to win. Don't forget, Cameroon they don't qualify for this next AFCON, so they lost. I think they lost to Kenya, so they qualifying series. So, and the team is trying to like prepare for the next qualifiers, the next AFCON, which I think is going to be next year again. And that next year one with the qualifiers for the Brazil 2027 or so. Is it by 27, 2028 or 2027? I don't know. 2027. It's been
2027, yeah.
2027. So for me, I think that's what they actually what they're trying to actually prepare for. They are coming again with the majority of the team that played against Nigeria at the last Olympic qualifiers, that we won 1-0 on aggregate. So it's not gonna be like the game against Algeria. It's gonna be a more competitive and difficult game. So I can see some of the former other guy's teammate. I don't know if you know that girl. I forgot her name. Is it Guan? So she used to play for CSK Moscow before too. Very
Ongwene or something like I think.
Guan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to play for CSK Moscow before, so I saw her too. Dancing, just enjoying the vibes in Nigeria too. So for me, it's not going to be really a friendly tournament. It's going to be a test for Nigeria. I would love us to play 2 games, against them, but because of logistics. So, this is going to be the real test for us to Madigo, because it's going to be facing, a team that we expect to face similar position in Morocco. And also too, and what's it called? We beat them 1-0 to qualify for the last World Cup, remember that is it Ajibade's goal, was it? Not
Yes,
Ajibade's, yeah,
Ajibade's go.
Ajibade's goal.
They had that.
That's what. So the game between Nigeria and Cameroon have not been easy. And this one I don't think it should be easy. So if Osima wants to, shoot himself in the foot, he should go and do that, start. Then he's going to start feeling the heat.
I mean, Cameroon versus
And also,
Nigeria.
sorry, before I just they've also appointed a trainer. I don't
Yes,
know if you know about the trainer.
yes,
So
yes. The former
so
it was under Thomas Denaby
Thomas
back in the
Dennerby, yeah,
day, yeah, and
yeah.
they've appointed. Glory be to God. Just speaking of that trainer, I saw the way the I won't mention his name. One of the journalists was praising it and talking about it as if it's a some huge initiative by the NFF. It's unfortunate that the NFF does the bare minimum and people
Mm-hmm.
start to give them praise. Should the women's national team not have a physical trainer? Like, is this something that they appoint a physical trainer and then we start to praise the NFF? Like, wow, what a great
Mm-hmm.
job they've appointed. The bare minimum, the basic things that they should have. I was talking to a Super Falcons player and she was telling me about how even when they went to the Olympics, that something like massage room, yeah, the Super Falcons have one masseuse, when other countries have 4 or 5 masseuses that are helping all the other players. They have one masseuse. So she was telling me that she will get to this thing. By the time you see the queue, that everybody's queuing up to get massage from the same one person, she will just say, "Well, let me allow other people do," and she will go and try to treat herself, by herself. So we do the bare minimum things, and then some of these journalists start to give the NFF credit for it. I don't know why. Maybe because they are looking for one thing or the other, but it just makes me laugh. So now we've hired a physical trainer for them, and was supposed to start cheering them on and start praising them like, wow, got a great job. You see the way they phrased it, like, oh, NFF charging them on to victory at the WAFCON. I'm just like, come on, man. It's the list of what they should be doing. There's so many other things that are not getting right, but I'm not going to give them any credit for doing the basics. So just back to the Cameroon game, whenever we face Cameroon, it's never it's never easy, even though we tend to get the better of them. I remember in 2016, we beat them 1-0. This was at the WAFCON in the final, if you remember that year.
Mm-hmm.
In 2018, we beat them on penalties. It was fought on penalties after a goalless draw. Like you referenced, in 2022, Ajibade with the header that helped us to qualify for the World Cup, we beat them 1-0. And then we also beat them again on the way to our Olympic qualification, and it was
Yeah.
1-0, and it was Esther Okonkwo that scored the lone goal. So whenever we face Cameroon, it's a tight encounter, even though we tend to come out
Wasn't
on.
wasn't is he that penalty?
What do you say?
Is not penalty?
It was no, it wasn't a penalty.
The 1-0 victory. Oh, yeah,
No, no, no,
so
it
yeah.
wasn't a penalty. It was
South Africa. South Africa was penalty.
South Africa was penalty. Yes, yes. It was Esther Okoronkwo. So whenever we face them, it's always going to be a tight encounter. But we tend to get the better of them, and I strongly believe that we have the better team than Cameroon. Even with the mix and match squad that we're currently using, the um, new girls from the NWFL. It is yes, yes. Adiola reminded us that last year that they said we used Juju where we
Mm-hmm.
where we played against them. It's going to be interesting. I think the regular players are probably going to start the match with Chiamaka in goal, Tosin Dimei, Alozie, Imuron, and Osinacho Hale will probably start in the defense. In the midfield, I would expect to see Echegini, Deborah Abiodun, Christy Uchebe. I would expect to see Ajibade on one side. I would expect to see maybe Tony Payne on the other side, and then Ife Onumonu might lead the line, or maybe the coach might give a chance for Babajide Risola to lead the line. But however we do it, I think that we're still going to put out a strong enough lineup, and then the likes of Antifrani or Dega can come off the bench. Maybe MMSN can come on at some point. Maybe he wants to see Shukura Toladapo also get a chance. I'm sure that even the coach will be a bit frustrated that he doesn't get the 2 games anymore, because 2 games would have given an opportunity to see more players. You can mix the lineup a little bit for the first game and then play a different kind of lineup for the second match. But given the fact that we only have one match, I think he has to go with a strong enough team, so that we can really see how the core of our team can play well. And at least when the likes of Ashley Plumter come into the team, there are not too many key changes to the starting 11, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that helps us going forward. I know that the coach Justin Madugu is mixed feelings about him. Some people think he's a good coach. Some people don't like him at all. Some people are reserving judgment until they see him at the WAFCON. I really hope he does well, not because of him, but because of the Super Falcons. I want the players to get that success. Some players that I talk to, like Christy Uchebe, for example, I know how hungry she is for success with the national team. This girl has won everything that she can win with her club, Benfica, and she's like, now that she's in the Super Falcons, when she was growing up, she was watching the Super Falcons win AFCON after AFCON after AFCON. Now that she's there, she doesn't want it to be her generation that doesn't win. Even Ajibade, she has won the WAFCON in 2018 before, but then she was just a new girl on the block. Now that she's the skipper, she's the captain of the side. She wants to be able to lead the team and lift that trophy for the team. So Chiamaka as well, very, very, very driven player, as well as some of the veterans like Osinachi or Hale, and then the new girls that have taken to the Super Falcons very well, like the Aloziers. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow's friendly because I always like to support the Super Falcons. I hope that the NFF, even though I hope that they've done a little bit of work on the ground in Ogun State to be able to attract fans to the stadium. Just so that I hate when I'm watching the Super Falcons play and I'm seeing them play in front of 100 people in a capacity stadium of 20 something thousand. There is to be 200 people in the stadium, everywhere just empty and quiet. So even if it's that they send somebody to on the road to be handing out tickets, they should just do something so that at least the girls can get a good amount of support, and can feel the energy, and we can have an exciting game. And hopefully we're able to get the victory against Cameroon. But that's that on the Super Falcons game. We're looking forward to it. If I have the opportunity to do, I will probably do a live stream during the game. But again, if I have the opportunity to, we'll have to. I can't promise it right now. But just stay tuned and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know if that is going on. Okay, Smith Layi, let us forge ahead.
He goes to say this.
Okay.
You can say it here. Let's go with fans in the stadium. Full crowd.
Okay, Smith Layi is confirming for us. We're going to have full crowd in the
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah. I hope that people don't go to farm, but I know that people will, there will still be crowd in the stadium actually because
What's the
for them to
capacity
turn
for the
out,
stadium, sir?
I think they're like 15. For them to turn out and watch the game between Flamingos and Delta Stars, the final of the what's it called of the
Sports
sports festival.
festival.
And they were sharing the Flamingo against Delta. I was like, So I just think that yeah, like sport crazy people. This is the first time that things like that is coming to Abeokuta for a very
Mm,
long time. So and Abeokuta used to be the home for Falcons. Yeah, so they're back home.
mm.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Let me just give credit to the NFF for one thing because I call out when they do wrong. I was talking to a Super Falcons player, and apparently, they put them in a very nice hotel, probably the best hotel in Abeokuta.
Mm-hmm.
They put them in a very nice hotel. They said it was comfortable, everything. Some of the issues that they normally have are still there, but the hotel that they put them, they did not put them in anyhow place. They are comfortable in their hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I love about this Baba accounts is that they're always just happy and enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Despite all the issues, they're just always happy playing around. I wish more journalists cared and paid attention, rather than the ones that got on free flights to go to London to go and cover the Unity Cup. I wish some people decided to stay back home and cover the girls in Ogun State. I want to give credit and shout out to Ademola Victor.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one person that has been giving us a lot of content from the Super Falcons camp. And the work that he does, man, should not be understated. This man does a lot of work in terms of promoting women's football in Nigeria. So kudos to him and keep doing what you're doing, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, let us forge ahead. Before we get into the conversation about the Unity Cup and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I want to just quickly highlight like a number of Nigerian players won trophies with their clubs over the weekend. Yes, I know that the leagues are done in most of the mainstream leagues, but there are still a few of them that are going on or are just concluding. First of all, Jesse Sekidika won the Azerbaijan Cup with Sabah FC. Jesse Sekidika champion his second career trophy with Sabah FC. He won the Azerbaijan Cup and they have qualified for the playoffs of the UEFA Europa League. So hopefully they can qualify all the way to the tournament and we can see another Nigerian player there. We also have Philip Otele winning the Swiss Cup with FC Basel. So this season he has won the domestic double, the Swiss League and the Swiss Cup. Philip Otele. So it was a good move that he did to return to Europe from the UAE after making a little bit of cash. So congratulations to him on that one. We also have a boy that Smith Layi has talked highly about in the past, Onuche Ogbelu, winning the Tunisian Cup with Esperance de Tunis. Good preparation for them as they are going to the FIFA Club World Cup. They are going to be facing my own club, Chelsea, in the Club World Cup. So I'm going to be looking forward to watching him do that. Also, we had Sodiq, rather, Awujoola, winning the CAF Champions League with Pyramids SC in a tight encounter in the final, double-legged final against Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. Congratulations to Pyramids SC. Congratulations to Sodiq Awujoola. I'm sure that his people are very excited, and he is very excited about winning that trophy. And then to wrap up, I would also highlight Super Eagles goalkeeper Victor Sochima won the Sudanese League and Cup double, South Sudanese League and Cup double with Jamus SC. So congratulations to Victor Sochima. He's been in the Super Eagles before, when I was playing for Rivers. Now he's playing for Jamus SC in South Sudan, and he has done the domestic double over there. So congratulations to all the new champions, and I wish them all the best in the summer and the season ahead. Smithai, your thoughts on our different champions over the past week?
I wish them luck. When you were talking about the Sudanese league, I was like, it's South Sudan, so they don't play, you know, Juma FC. I remember Sochima when he was in, was it Rivers Night, I think.
Rivers, yeah.
Yeah, he went to go and handle the ball in the middle of the box. So I don't know, maybe it was the rush of blood, but I wish him the luck. I wish him best of luck. Kudos to Otele. You said it before, it's good decision for him to come back to Europe, and he's also what doing well. I hope that he can play very well in the CAF, in the what's it called, in the qualifiers for the Champions League, so they can actually be the Champions League group stage. You know, I would love to actually see him in the Champions League group stage. Sekidika, highly rated player. You know, when he was in Turkey, I think he's Azerbaijan, is it?
Azerbaijan, yeah.
Come on, he was dribbling everybody in the Turkey second division. Before I think he got to move to Galatasaray in Turkey. Was it not?
Was it guys?
Yeah. He got to move to Galatasaray. Sekidika. He got to move to Galatasaray in Turkey. So when he didn't get enough playing time, I think they loaned him somewhere else or so. So things did not materialize for him
Oh,
at
yeah,
all.
right. Yeah, he was in Galatasaray. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, I really rate him highly, but for me to hear he's in Azerbaijan now, it's it's a sad situation. But I wish him luck. And you also mentioned which player again?
There's also Onuche Ogbelu.
Onuche Ogbelu. Yeah. So I've been watching the club. The Club World Cup here is midnight. In the UK, but I'll be watching the Club World Cup because of Williams. I highly rated. I rate him so highly because I've been following him when he was in secondary school. Very very good player, and I believe that. He's the future of that defensive midfield. Is what it is. All those people are still there. They are still they are tenants. The landlord is coming. Yes, I believe so. In that defensive midfield area, his press resistance. He handles the ball calmly. You watch him against Chelsea. I hope he handles Enzo Marek. Is it Enzo Fernandez very well?
Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
I was of Sodiq Awujoola, CAF champions.
Yeah. Sodiq, they call him Ogoshaki. He's from Ibadan in southwestern Nigeria. Very, very good player. They call him the Neymar, of of the Egyptian league. Very, very good player. But he was so instrumental to them progressing. I watched him against Pirates, but unfortunately he got injured. He didn't play both legs in the final, but he was instrumental to Pyramid that was success. That's why they went for him. So I can just say that Pyramid is like PSG of Africa, because they have money, so they have been spending money just to win the tournament, and I'm happy for them too. Just like PSG, I'm happy for them to actually win it. So I'm happy that Nigeria actually was winning after. Was it? I forgot the Nigerian player that won the Champions League last. He used to play for Al Ahly. You will know him very well. He used to play for Al Ahly. So I'm happy that Sodiq actually.
Is it Junajai?
Junior Jai, yes, Junior Jai, yeah, Junior Jai. So I'm happy that he actually he won, and yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Let me
we'll
ask you a
see.
question,
Yeah.
Smith. Why is it that whenever I say that our players are winning in Azerbaijan and all this, why are you not always happy for them?
No. The issue is, see, I love to celebrate with them, but it's just that, I tuned to watch. Was the even Club Brugge game, the last game against Antwerp? Was it Antwerp? Yeah, it was against Antwerp, and the level of football in Belgium is not it. It's not it. It's not it at all. It's not it. So imagine trying to watch Azerbaijan League, trying to watch Latvia League, trying to watch those leagues. In fact, I think you mentioned there was a guy that came. I don't know, maybe you track him too. I think he's playing. Is it Baghdad? I don't know. Well, there was one. I'm a Nigerian international. I'm happy for them to win, but it's just not where we want to celebrate our players. Yeah.
Shout out to TC Gogo, member of the channel for 2 months now. I said we need some Eagle Striker sub badges. I'm not sure what you mean. But guys, please support the channel, join the channel as a member, be like TC
I
Gogo,
think we
or
more. Okay, I think he joined.
leave a
He
super
joined.
chat. No, but he's been a member for 2 months. Maybe he just upgraded to Falcon. I don't know
Okay.
exactly. But thank you, TC Gogo. Guys, please, if you haven't liked the video, hit the like button, hit the like button. Support. And please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you want us to take your comment, if you want to ask a question, if you want us to talk about something in particular, please leave a super chat. Also, if you just want to support the effort and the contents that we create, please leave a super chat and it will be greatly appreciated. Adedatun, oh sorry. Adedatun says, Smith Layi, please, Saki is different from Ibadan.
No, I know he's from. I say he's from Southwest Ogoshaki. It's one part of this thing I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, but shout out to all our champions, man. Wherever you're playing, I celebrate you. whether you are in Iran or Libya or Nigeria, if you are a champion, you know easy to win. You know easy to win anywhere. You know easy to win anywhere. Okay. That's that on that. Please like the video. Thank you very much. Let us move on quickly, Smith Layi, and talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, we just watched our boys win the Unity Cup tournament. Coach Eric Shell lifting quote unquote his first trophy for Nigeria after defeating Jamaica on penalties. We'll touch on some subtopics from that Unity Cup and from the game against Jamaica. But Smilai, I'll start by asking you. We saw Eric Shell celebrate. We
Mhm.
even saw him going back to the hotel and asking for spray so that he can shine the trophy well and make sure everything is neat. Do you think Eric Shell should be as happy as he seems to be about this, considering that it's a friendly tournament? Or do you think it's okay that we are celebrating and we're happy like this because of this tournament?
I don't know if you know this adage. There is this popular adage where I come from. If some people have been looking for child for a very long time and they don't have one, they will ask them to maybe go and adopt one or go and just get one in the house. Say the head of that child that they brought in the house, we bring the real one, for between the couple. So for me, is embracing this little, is thanking God. What if that penalty did not hit by and we lost the game against Jamaica? People talking about say under Jamaica you can't even beat. But we forgot that we draw 2-2 now. We forgot that I will draw 2-2, 3-2. So I'm happy that he won. And I think that this is the first of many for him. Let him embrace, let him kiss it. It's okay. When the real AFCON comes, you know that you understand the reason why. Maybe he's praying on that trophy, say, God, oh, I thank you for this trophy. I want bigger one, AFCON
Mm,
and the World Cup.
mm.
Maybe when maybe if Nigeria win AFCON, you have to promise maybe we do this podcast shirtless. Yes, so I'm happy that you actually was one. Yeah,
Mm, mm.
yeah.
I mean, I hear you, Sha. If he didn't win, people would have been talking, oh, we can't beat Jamaica, this one, that one, that
Mhm,
one. And you're right, Nigerians, the euphoria of just even winning, people have forgotten the fact that the match actually ended 2-2,
mhm,
and it's all about the fact that we won. I don't know. For me, maybe it's because me, I just look at it that this tournament did not really matter like that. For
mhm,
us to be celebrating it as if we won the WAFCON, even all our players are posting, oh, trophy, first game, first trophy, this one now. I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, there's it's just like when Harry Kane won Audi Cup. If you now say, "Oh, my first career trophy," I would have looked at him like, "Guy, are you being serious right now?" But also, maybe I'm just the one that is too strict because sometimes people say I'm strict. I thought it was a bit funny, but nevertheless, happy for him. You can only beat who is in front of you.
mhm,
He has not yet gone to the AFCON, so he cannot win
mhm,
the AFCON yet. He has not
mhm,
gone to the World Cup, so he cannot win the World Cup yet. The one we don't
mhm,
go na Unity Cup, and he
mhm,
won the Unity Cup. So let's allow him to be happy about it. Now he has a bigger task to face when he goes and plays Russia. We'll get into that in a little
mhm,
bit, but I would say congratulations to him. I see a question here from our friend Uche Chuku. He's asking, did you hear Ulysses speak about Eric Shell? Um, I believe what he's referring to is the comments that Sunday Olise made talking about how Nigerians are not allowed to coach abroad, and he's not happy about the fact that our biggest job has gone to a foreigner. He said it's a sign of disrespect to coaches from Nigeria. That he's not a fan of him. He's not going to talk about how good he is because he looks like a nice guy. But ultimately, he believes that the Nigerian should be coaching the Super Eagles. Like, what do you think about those comments from Sunday Olise?
And there is this. I don't know. Maybe this is addict night. There's this addict that is that you cannot have a child that you want to put a bracelet on. You go and put that bracelet on another child's outside. That if you have your child that is ready, put that bracelet on that your child.
Hmm.
The issue is this. But if that your child is not ready, if it's not ready and it's not capable of doing it, what will you do? For me, I think the national team job is not for sentiment, it's for those that are ready to do it. Eric Sher coached Mali to the AFCON quarterfinal. And, you know, people really liked what he did. And I can tell you something for free, IoT. If you monitor the interview of Victor Osimhen with Mikel Obi, he praised Eric Shell. But what was it? Eguavon too. Kudos to Eguavon. He nearly forgot that he was once coached by Eguavon.
Hmm.
And I can tell you, it's not to ridicule Eguavon, Fredrick George, or any other people that have coached Nigeria before in the past. But they need to upgrade themselves and try. I mean, they can nearly escape relegation by 1 point at the end of Owerri. So you have to just give people the right thing. It's not about this sentiment thing. I would say someone I actually would respect. I just think that for him to say that one, I think is so disrespectful, to Eric Shell and to the Nigerian national team at large.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, I think that we need to get over this sentiment of a Nigeria must be the one coaching Nigeria. It is a pointless argument, in my own opinion. We give the job to the best person for the job. Even when Eric Shaw was appointed, I had my skepticism. I had my doubts. I spoke about how he has never won anything before. Now he has won the Unity Cup. But I spoke about how he has never won anything before. I spoke about how he didn't have a long career. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and doubts about things. But when the only reason why you don't like somebody is because, oh, he's not from Nigeria, we need, let's not be like some of the other countries that are very anti-foreigner and xenophobic in that sense. If the man is doing a good job, he's doing a good job. The Nigerian coaches that you want to take the job, what are they doing? How are they improving? How are they implementing themselves? We even saw Eric Shell after leaving the Mali job. Between the time he came to coach Nigeria, he took another job
Mm-hmm,
to keep on coaching, to keep on improving, and to keep on growing as a coach. But there were
mm-hmm,
Nigerian coaches, they sit down at home and they don't really try to do much.
mm-hmm,
They don't try to do anything. They don't take chances. I mean, I give credit to some of the ones that decided to coach in the MPFL this season. But those ones, like, they exposed themselves. We saw how their coaching was in the MPFL. Maybe that's why they don't like taking jobs, because if they take the job now, they don't do well. Maybe we'll not rate them anymore. But you cannot be sitting at home, not trying to improve, not showing yourself, and then be arguing that you're better. It's just, imagine a player like Onyekuru saying that, oh, that he's still better than all these guys. Why is he not in Super Eagles? Because, oh, he once used to be good. Football is a what have you done for me lately type of game. There is a reason why, as legendary as Jose Mourinho is, the top teams in the world are not rushing for him right now, because it's what have you done for me lately. And if you've not done anything lately, then you cannot be fighting for a job. See, if football coaching was by who is from there, or then why is it that almost all the teams in the Premier League are coached by foreigners? We have foreigners coaching in different leagues across the world. The team that just won the UEFA Champions League, PSG, coached by a Spaniard. It's not about where you're from, it's about who they feel is best for the job. And if they don't feel like a Nigerian is best for the job, then it doesn't go to a Nigerian. Another thing that I think that even discredits the argument is the fact that it's not as if they did not give Nigerians the chance. They gave them the chance. We saw Finidi get his chance. He didn't use his chance well. We saw Eguavon also get a chance. He didn't use the chance well. So if they've taken that chance and they've decided that, okay, you know what, see, our boys are not really delivering, let's go and get somebody that has a little bit more experience from abroad, I don't think it's a big issue. Before, the complaint was always Oyinbo man, Oyinbo man, Oyinbo man. Okay, this one now no be Oyinbo, he's a fellow African. Then now he's saying, oh, how can another African be coaching this thing? It is just somehow. And when they say, oh, Nigerians cannot are not getting opportunities to coach abroad, that's not true. We've seen Keshi coach abroad.
mm-hmm,
We've seen Amunike coach abroad. If you apply for the jobs abroad and you are good enough for the job abroad, they will employ you.
mm-hmm,
Nobody will say, "Oh, you're a Nigerian, so we wouldn't employ you." No, if you apply, you're good enough. You present a good plan to the employers and directors of the club or the country, they would employ you. So I just think that, see, um, you know, I like Olise, I like his pan Nigerianism, but in this situation, I don't think it's a point. We need to be dragging ourselves forward, not going back. And if Eric Shell is the one that they believe that can drag us forward, then let's stick with him. Let's give him our support. I can't imagine that for somebody like Eric Shell, it cannot feel nice for him to be hearing a legend of Nigerian football talking about, oh, I don't like him because he's not from Nigeria. These are not encouraging things, and especially at this critical point. I mean, this is opinion at the end of the day, but I don't think it is a good opinion. Honestly, I don't think it's a good opinion. But yes, Uche, thank you for that question. That's that on Sunday, Olise. Let's not get into that too much. We want to talk about the Unity Cup. Okay, let's get into some specifics from the Unity Cup. Let's talk about some certain players and the performances that they gave us. I'll start by a player who received a lot of criticisms. Like, we have Sodiq Ismail, popularly known as Sodiq Bending. Yeah, the one that puts that name in everybody's mouth. Sodiq Bending. So Sodiq Ismail, he played in both matches against Ghana and against Jamaica. It's been like, how do you rate his Unity Cup performance?
Below par, below par. And Sodiq Bending is the typical example of or the product of our league. I can say these things. It's not. I'm not just watching Sodiq Bending now. I watched him when he played for Rebel Stars. Last season, this season. For me, it was just like below par. I don't know how he got selected. One, he can't defend. He can't position himself. Sometimes he tackled. I don't know, maybe you saw the commentator said that maybe probably this tackle is from he's 25. You can't do that. If there's a player that have gotten a red card in this Unity Cup, Sodiq is mine because he nearly broke one Jamaica guy leg. He was just all over the place. And that's why I wondered how this guy would go abroad and pass trials. For me, he deserves that criticism. And I can say it here. It did not. It wouldn't. He should not be called up again to the national team. We've tried him. They sacked the judge because of him. If Eric Shell insists to play this guy in a crucial game, this guy is the one that will relieve Eric Shell of his job fully. You can see clearly he doesn't have, the idea of even what a defender should know. And that talks, that also, I can link that one to the level of coaching too. Our player are exposed to in the domestic league. So for me, he cannot play in the English League Two because he was a League One or League Two player that ran him ragged, in that game. So I don't think the level is that high. For me, below par. In fact, if I'm to rate him this Unity Cup, it's -2/10.
-2. How can it be
Over
on
10.
you points?
Okay, let me just say zero. Zero is fine.
I mean, but he got the assist against Ghana. Doesn't that count for something? No.
Forget if he did one thing, he did 20 things bad. So what is that? What is now the point of that thing? It's worth it. So for me, I think he was so bad.
I think, see, we cannot deny the fact that he looked out of place in the team. He looked and showed us that maybe, just maybe, he cannot really operate at this level.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing is that for the Jamaica game, he was the most experienced defender that we had in terms of international appearance.
Yes.
But he looked like the new boy amongst all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even having to allow the young boy to be covering for him and to be able to and be helping him to cover his mistakes. I just think that he did not show qualities of a good defender.
Mm-hmm.
Getting beat for pace way too easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's like for that second goal, if you are showing your man to the outside and you have 1.5 yards on him, then you need to be ready for him to knock that ball because that's what you are inviting him to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you show somebody to the outside, you are telling the person, oh, yeah, run, take it down the flank. So if you tell me this is what I should do and I do it and you are not prepared for it, then what really are you doing? And then eventually, when he realized that he could not keep up, that's when he made that bad tackle that you said could have potentially been a red card if it was a more competitive fixture.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I just think that he can be better. I mentioned the assist that he got against Ghana, but if I really even want to break it down, the cross wasn't the best cross. It was Cyril Dessers that made the movement because normally you would expect Dessers to be running ahead and the ball goes between defender and goalkeeper for Dessers
Mm-hmm.
to finish. But the ball went behind and Dessers was sharp enough to make the movement and halt his run to be able to get the ball. And also, if the Ghana defender did not slip, he potentially should have cleared that
Mhm.
ball away. So for me, he just showed that he cannot really keep up at this level. I know he's still with the team going to Russia, and probably might play because it's a thinned squad, which we'll get into in a little bit. I just think that if he's the best that the MPFL can offer us, then it is tough, man. It is not a good display for the league. I know that the MPFL champions that we have in the media will for sure make excuses and tell us. I saw somebody on Twitter that was telling me, "Hey, but it wasn't too horrible." Now, I was like, is that the standard? It is. He is not too horrible. That's the standard for how
Mhm.
we say a player is good enough for the national team. And I just thought it was incredible. How bad he looked against Jamaica, particularly. And I really do hope that they realize that we cannot be taking too many chances with these players. Let's get the best of the best of the best legs to represent Nigeria. I know that they are potentially looking for a way to send him abroad and for them to make some money, but we need to make sure that whoever we're calling into the national team is ready for the stage. We'll get into this particular conversation a little bit more where we talk about certain people, but I was honestly shocked. As much as I didn't think he was a fantastic defender before, I honestly did not think he was going to be run ragged like he was. And I think even I know he was happy he won the Unity Cup with the team, but if he does go back and watches the tape, which I hope he does, he has many, many things that he needs to learn in terms of his positioning, in terms of his body shape, in terms of reading the game better. There's so many things that he needs to learn. The MPFL, the standard unfortunately is just not high enough. And amongst all the other million things that happen, Sodiq Ismail did not really impress at all. Did not
Yeah.
really impress at all. I'm not going to go as far as saying, oh, he should never be part of the squad again in the future.
Uh-uh.
But I think for now, he doesn't deserve to be in the team.
Yeah. Okay. And I just add something because
Okay.
somebody asked me a question here, but I'm going to ask you to highlight it because there's no super chat. They said that you are too harsh. He needs to improve a lot, but he's not entirely a dead player. Let me tell you something. He's still 21. I don't know for how many years now, but
Sorry, before what's funny? You said this one. I was talking to a player from the MPFL today. I was
uh,
talking about Super Eagles. And I said, Sodiq Ismail. The guy said, Sodiq Ismail is old now. Now why? I said, he's 21. He's not old now. 21. The guy said, 21. The player started laughing. And this is somebody from the MPFL. But go on.
yeah, yeah. So I know that he's still 21. I don't know how many years he was 21. I know that maybe 36 months makes 1 year. Who we know, but uh, he can still improve. But you expect certain level from a Nigerian champion. Arguably, they call him the Daniel Alves of Nigerian football.
Hmm.
So this is not harvesting everything. Like I said it before, and I stand to be corrected. The MPFA is like Serie D, or even lower than Serie D. A player performing very well in Serie D, can you advocate for that player to be called up to the national team? I watched Ismail Sadiq in continental tournament very well. I know his flaws. Ogunwade should cover his head, bury his head in shape for him to recommend that he should call this boy for the national team. This guy is not Super Eagles level. This guy, in fact, I don't want to say much about it. But for me, this is the level of the players who should have with the MPFL. I hope he can improve. Maybe when he go to Bangladesh, I mean go to
They
Iraq
say he's going to Switzerland.
to go and do what?
They say he's
And
joining
we
one of
go and
those.
talk bench like Benjamin Tiaminu now.
You don't think he can play in Switzerland?
This guy is maybe see he cannot play. He cannot play. He should go there and surprise me. I don't think this guy can play in South African League.
Hmm.
I don't think he can play in South African League. I wish him the very best of luck. He's a young chap, being 21. So he should continue to be 21. When he's 22, you call us.
Oh, God, oh, God. I'm not anybody's father. Don't be me to determine anybody's age. If he says he's
Mm-hmm,
21, I believe him. But
mm-hmm,
his performance at this level, maybe because he's a young boy, he still needs to improve. And
mm-hmm.
then in the future, he'll be able to play for us. But yes, that's that on Sodiq Ismail. A reminder, guys, please like the video. A lot of you are asking questions and leaving comments. If you want us to highlight your comment on the screen or take your question, please leave it with a super chat. Any amount is appreciated. If you also want to support the channel, please leave a super chat and would appreciate you as you do so. But please like the video. That one is very, very important as well. Okay, we've spoken about Sodiq Ismail. Let us talk about a debutant from that game. This is a player that was supposed to just be training for us, but eventually got cleared and was able to make his debut. Of course, I'm talking about Felix Agu with his blonde hair, wearing the number 21 jersey. Smilai, what did you think of Felix Agu's debut for the Super Eagles?
Like I watched your analysis of him. I also did a little bit of research on him too. Good player, good player. Despite that, he's him and Simon, they are like how would I call it? They are like right and left. How would I call it? Sometimes too far away from each other. They are
Mm.
not in the same pace at all. Simon is a traditional old winger, that likes to players to give him width. Felix Agu is a modern day left back that likes to operate, with space. He can give you width even without anyone in front of you. That's what Agu can do. Also give you, it can cut in and different things like that. If you understand football, understand Felix Agu's game very well. And one of my friends here is listening. He called me and said, the boy is average. But I can tell you that the boy, what the boy will do for Nigeria, he will come back and tell me, say, this boy is right. For me, fantastic player. Fantastic player. I like, I don't know if you know very well until you watch the full game. The way the guy was attacking space, but Chukwueze could not locate him, could not feed him. He was so free in some areas, but because you won't see that, you only follow the ball. But I was monitoring what he was actually doing in that game. He was strong in tackles. They tried to exploit this area first. But when they realized that it was too tough, they went to Sodiq Bendi's area, and they have a very full day. In fact, they was even saying that he should come to the right back, the right side, because there's somebody leaking, in this right side. So Agu, different wavelength. Thank you, Omolaji. So Agu is a different player, and I'm happy that he chose Ashore to play for Nigeria. He might move to the Premier League very soon, but I'm really actually happy that Agu should play for Nigeria. That U20 Cup where I share some like, okay, come on, I know what the guy can actually do. I like one thing, he's very strong in tackle. You cannot really bully him. That is one thing. And that is what it takes to succeed in African football. It's not just giving people 1 yard of space and they will still beat you with space. But this one is marking, he's doing everything. That's the difference in class between him and Ismail Sodiq.
Mm. Well said, well said. And like you said, I did the tactical analysis on Felix Agu before the game, and many of the things that I highlighted were things that we saw in the game against Jamaica. I've said it. If any player wants to come and try to just take Felix Agu down the flank, he's going to stop you. He
Yeah.
can time his tackles well. He can read the game very well. He's somebody that can operate on the inside, on the outside. We saw that in the first half, like you mentioned, he and Simon were not quite on the same wavelength, so he was not really sure what to do, where to get into. But things became a little bit better in the second half. We see that he can use his left foot if need be, and he also likes to whip in those crosses on his right foot. I was thinking about is that when he has Osimhen in the box, when they can make that, when they can form that chemistry, and Osimhen knows that when this guy has the ball, he can find me on those early crosses. We know how good Osimhen is in the air. It can be a tasty combination going forward in the future. I also think that he can maybe be a little bit stronger in his aerial duels. I know he's not the tallest guy in the world.
Uh-uh.
No, no,
He's
no.
even
I know.
he's 5 feet.
Yes, I know he's not the tallest guy in the world, but maybe that's just something that we can look at. I mean, he's not a center back or anything like that, but you can still try. Even if you're not heading the ball, you just nudge
The
the
jumping
person.
power.
Yeah, just nudge the person a little bit. Just make it uncomfortable for the attacker. That's the simple thing. Like even if the person is going to win the ball, just make it uncomfortable for them so that it's not like they're just knocking it down easily to their teammates and things like that. But overall, he's a good defender. When I did my analysis, I said it that see, in as much as I've always spoken about how I like Bruno AMH, even though sometimes people have not been too convinced, I believe that Agu comes in and becomes our best left back. Zedu
Mhm.
Sanusi with his injuries and everything, he needs to come back and show us that he's a quality player. But Agu, I think, with more time with the team, the chemistry forms, I think he easily becomes our starting left back.
Yeah.
And And Bruno needs to cannot just be happy. He needs to step up and he needs to show himself. I think the good thing for Bruno is that okay, next season he's going to be playing in the UEFA Champions League, so maybe he can play at a bigger stage and can play against some big players that can improve and get better. But as of right now, I like Felix Agu. I'm happy that he's in the team because that left side of our defense has been a position where we've not had as much quality as maybe on the right side with Ola. And we know how good Calvin Bassey is from that left centre back position. So if you can put Bassey and give him somebody to the side of him that is equally as good or maybe just as good as he is, I think it bodes well for the future. I'm really excited about what Felix Agu can bring, honestly. I was surprised that he didn't even smell the field in the first game against Ghana. I don't know, maybe the coach had other plans or whatever it is that exactly that he wanted to do. But even looking at in the Unity Cup how he played versus how Bruno Yemechi played, I think he showed me more than what Bruno Yemechi showed me. It's going to be interesting. He's not in the squad for the Russia game, maybe because he was only supposed to be training. They didn't do his papers or whatever he needs to travel
No,
to.
but they didn't do Fredrick's own too. I think the test coach excused him.
Well, maybe,
He's in
maybe.
New York now.
Yeah, but I mean, nevertheless, I'm happy that he's there. I hope that he tries
I will
to.
be tracking him now.
Yes. We'll be posting his
Uh-huh.
games when he's
Have
playing.
you followed him?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He's
Because
he's
I've
he's
tracked him
fully
for so
fully on.
long.
He's fully on the Eagle Tracker radar right now. He's
Uh-huh.
fully on the radar. But I hope he does the work of maybe trying to connect with the Nigerian people a little bit.
He
Talking
will. He will.
talking to us, making us like him. Because I feel like somebody like a Cyril Dessers, that's one of the things that I think is working against Cyril Dessers. The fact that he just goes and plays his ball and then he forgets that he's Nigerian. And then when it's time for international break, he remembers that he's Nigerian again. You need to connect to the people a little bit because if you
But,
don't, people are not going to champion you. People are not going to shout for
but,
you like that.
but IoT, you know that I forgot to tell you this thing. When he scored that goal, he went to the fans.
Yeah, I mean because he's on the field.
Is this guy listening to IoT? As I was, or is he working you with like all those fake accounts? Maybe he's listening to you.
When he's got, I went to the France, we were celebrating, but I feel like that's just the emotion of when you're on the field, the emotion, the blood gets pumping, you're super excited,
Mm-hmm.
But I need him to be a thing whereby, like, if somebody goes on his social media now, for example, if they don't know that he's a Nigerian, they might not be able to tell based on anything that they see on his socials. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really talk to anybody in Nigeria, doesn't talk to any Nigerian media, doesn't do anything you know I think he can do more in that sense because he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying his call up is not dependent on how well he connects with the Nigerian people. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If he's playing well, he deserves a chance. He should be there. But I'm just saying, like, I wish he tried more to connect with us. You don't have to wait until you win African Best Player before you come home and you celebrate and you meet people and you talk to people. Just let Nigerians feel like you're part of them, and then that way the support increases, the love increases, and it will benefit you as much as it will benefit anybody else. That's what I honestly think. But Felix Agu, good debut. Looking forward to seeing more of him in the future, probably in September when we're going to play the World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and South Africa. Kelvin Marvel, thank you for your support. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Guys, be like Kelvin Marvel. Leave a super chat. Support the channel. Okay. Let us move forward. We have a few more players to talk about. Another player who made his debut in that match against Jamaica was the one and only this boy, Christantus Uche, one of the most talked about Nigerian players in the 2024-2025 season. He only played 15 minutes, but Smith Layi, in your estimation, did he do enough? And what did you think of Christantus Uche on his Super Eagles debut?
I'm sorry to bring you back to all these conversations, all these arguments. I will not leave here today. See, if they give you physics to solve, and you start saying, what is the formula sheet? What is speed and time? You start cracking your head like this. You don't know what you are doing. It doesn't take time for you to see quality.
Mm.
It doesn't take time for you to see potential. All those shall they fuck up? I go score now. And all those things. It's not if you have BT, you will see it. You will see it. This guy, the 15 minutes coming appearance. Once Africa was saying it yesterday, say, he's scared of this guy. This is what you need. In fact, it comes like someone that can just solve some of our problem in that midfield. The way he drives it. But then I told you about driving with the ball, but you did not even agree with that. I just think that his strength can be of good use to the team. That come and the confidence, the swagger level. This is what brings Nigeria. You know, for some people, their ability no go reach their swagger this thing. You know, but you can see the way active, the way we celebrated everything. This is like a ready-made Nigerian player that you can see here. So for me, I'm happy. Everything, it ticked all the boxes. The way he went to the coach, the way he was dancing in front of the camera, you know, it ticks, apart from the performance on the pitch itself, it ticks the boxes of someone that wants to win.
The personality.
The personality is there. So for me, going forward, Uche should be part of this thing. Either has say any how they want to use it. That's why I said it can be our own pandem. Like just doing those dirty jobs around. And with all those Chinese Africans that are listening to me now, he will bully them. He will bully them.
You know, Christantus Uche, man, is an absolute man mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That boy is just strong. Strong,
Mm-hmm.
strong, strong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people think I do not like Christantus Uche. I like him. This is a guy that I even chat with every once in a while. I like him. I have nothing against him. I find it amazing that we're at this point and people still don't understand that my point has always been about the position and not
Mm-hmm.
about the player or the player's inability. It has always been about the position. Christantus Uche, I think in his 15 minutes, he showed a lot of good quality. He showed a lot of good strength. He showed a lot of ability to move the ball forward. I still think that in the final third, he can be better in terms of communicating with his teammates, in terms of finding the final ball. But he has a lot of quality. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the national team. It is going to be interesting to see how Eric Shell sets up his midfield. But I like what I see from Christantus Uche. And Smith Layi, like you rightly said, there's some players that you just see them play. Some people say from their first two touches, you just know these guys happy. You know, I've gone to watch football sometimes, like even in local leagues here, and just they pass the ball to somebody from the first touch they play, the way the person checks their shoulders and then starts to run. You're like, this guy is good. This guy can play. And Cristiano is one of those players that just passes the eye test. You know, you see him playing like, oh, there's a lot of quality in this boy. The more he develops, the more he grows, the more he learns the intelligent part of the game, not just his natural ability, being able to read the game better, being able to interpret the game better, being able to understand the movements of his teammates, being able to know the right places to receive the ball. I think he can be a very, very good player. The only thing that I don't understand is where exactly they are going to play him and how they are going to use him. But also that's why I'm not the coach. I don't get paid tens of thousands of dollars to figure that out. The coach is the one that has the duty of figuring it out. I saw some comments where some people were saying, he should replace Ndidi, he should bench Ndidi, he should bench Ndidi. And I'm like, see, I don't know why people are trying their hardest to kick Ndidi out of the Super Eagles squad. Ndidi don't do the same work on the field. Now, maybe you tell me that that's the work he was doing in Owerri before he went to Spain. Okay, fine. But at the professional level, I've not yet seen him do that work. When you compare the number of tackles per game, when you compare the number of duels won per game, etc., he doesn't even, I don't want to get into those numbers because I was looking at them for other reasons. And in terms of tackles, interceptions, duels won, all those things, he doesn't even come close to Wilfred Ndidi yet. And again, if we saw how Ndidi played in the Unity Cup, Ndidi still did a good job. The same thing that we always say, maybe Ndidi is not a 90 minutes player anymore. By 60, 65, when he starts to get tired, you can take him off and bring on somebody that has legs, that can cover the rest of the game. But I think playing Uche maybe ahead, if we are playing three in the midfield, ahead of the two holding midfielders, he can bring a nice balance, a nice box to box presence, and it is just something exciting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. But Smith Layi, even though I said I'm not the coach, I'm not the one that's paid to answer the question. Let me ask you: when you look at Christantus Uche right now, where do you see him fitting into the team, and do you think he can be a starter?
You know, this is a $1 million question. And if Eric Chair wants to give him money too, he
You can
should.
help him.
For me, it's a very big question because if you look at the team, a lot of people praise Chukwueze for what he did in his Unity Cup. It's because we had two guys, Frank Onyeka and Ndidi, that if he lose the ball, they are there to actually to mop up, those things. And if you look at the way Eric Chair plays, he play with 4-2-2-2. Though he normally switch it around though, 4-2-2-2. Like so, Teller and Chukwueze can do whatever they like, and Ndidi and Onyeka will mop it up. And up front too, Simon and Desas, we actually will play up front. My only issue is this: if our players are back, like Lukman and Iwobi, Lukman and Iwobi will take their place, in that team. So I don't know who will actually want to drop for them. That is a major problem. The way things are, despite that I like Uche so much, I don't think he will start in that team. I think the only person I can see being a sacrificial lamb with the emergence of Onyeka and maybe a different midfielder will be Samuel Moses. So Onyeka and Didi, Chukwueze, Iwobi, Lukman Osimhen. I don't. So the Simon can come on the bench. So I still don't see. I see who do you think Uche can compete with? Maybe probably if you are bringing Chukwueze out, they want to, or it will be. You want to bring in Uche. That is fine. That is fine. And secondly, if we are under pressure, very well, you need someone that can, press your opponent back slightly. I think Uche can win some battles in the midfield. So, but if in a game that we are dominating, if we are Getafe doesn't dominate games, a game that we are dominating, that we need somebody to open up opponents. Uche can do a job for you, but Iwobi will do a better job.
Yeah.
That is my take.
And that's the dilemma with him, because as good as he is a player, when you look at that attacking ability, the final third, which is what I was talking about, you would still pick and it will be ahead of him. You would still pick even potentially a Dele Bashiru ahead of him in terms of just that final third attacking quality, picking the pass, finishing. Those I have to still put those guys ahead of him. I don't
Dele
think.
Bashiru?
Yes, I don't think he can pass as well as Dele Bashiru. I don't think he has a vision of Dele Bashiru. He is
But
probably.
but if he cannot pass like Dele Bashiru, he's more defensively disciplined than all of them.
Yes, I agree. But that's what we're saying. In a game whereby we're dominating and we're on the ball, maybe the coach wants there to be one holding midfielder, and then the other people are trying to put pressure on the opponent and be able to do well. For me, I look at him as.
Can you guys hear me? I don't know if it's AyoT. Okay, I think it's AyoT. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, I think it's AyoT. I think maybe it's internet. Can you guys hear me? If possible, am I moving? Okay, I think it's freezing. Okay. So guys, in my own opinion, I think okay, I think it's back. He never reached that one now. He never reached that one now. Uh, Okay, he never, he never reached that one. For me, I think he's a very good player. And the good thing is that if you are bringing, okay, I think he's back.
Sorry, my internet connection decided to play a fast one on me. So what was I
So
saying
let me just
before?
update you about what people have been saying before when you said
I can
you
see
don't
the comments. I can
because
see the comments.
you don't want Uche to start. That's why you say.
Yeah. It's not even about me not wanting him to start. I just don't see how he fits in, ahead of Aniwobi. He's not a defensive guy like Ndidi that is winning the ball and making interceptions. So, over time, maybe he can grow into that role. I look at it as, a position that is a real enigma for us right now. But the coach is the one that ultimately has the decision. Before, Smith, when we're talking about it, we were saying potentially that Chukwueze role,
Hmm.
but Chukwueze now did well. So maybe the coach will now say, no, I've always trusted Chukwueze. He's my creative force.
Hmm. Hmm.
He should be the one there. But he's a potential replacement for any of those guys. It will be potentially he can come on for it will be Chukwueze, potentially he can come on for Chukwueze, But I just think that the one thing that he should improve on is his final third
Hmm.
ability.
What about taking
Just that
taking
final
shots?
ball decision. What do you say?
What about taking shots?
It doesn't take shots.
But there's some good goals I saw him. Like,
I mean,
was it
he
this
scored he
Mallorca?
scored one very fine goal, yes, from like the edge of the box.
Yeah,
But if you look at his games, he's not somebody that takes shots like that.
but that
You
means that
know,
he has the capacity to do that.
in the right position at the right moment. It's just like
But
you know that
over, I
you
have to
know that
permit you that too.
there's
Who
no no
among
you know
them?
that there's times that you are playing and the ball just drops and you look at the goal and you just know that okay you have to shoot this thing so
Hmm.
he has the ability. Does he have the ability on a consistent basis? That is the question. Because if you even look at this season that he played for, what are they called, for
Getafe.
Getafe, in the whole season he took 50 shots.
Hmm.
So he's taking an average of 1 point, maybe 1.3, 1.4 shots per game. Most of
Hmm.
the shots came in the penalty area,
Hmm.
but that's also because of where he's playing for Getafe. When he's playing
Hmm.
for Nigeria, he's not really going to be getting into the penalty area, you
Hmm.
know, and he can take some shots from outside the box, but is he going to score? We've not seen him score from outside the box yet. I understand
Hmm.
that we don't really have that, goal scoring threats like that from our midfielders. I recognize that, even though Chukwueze scored one from outside the box or just the edge of the box in the
Hmm.
Jamaica game, but for me,
Inside
I
the box.
was maybe just inside the box. Yeah,
Hmm.
but for me, I don't look at that as something that okay, Uche is coming to bring us this. And people are saying AyoT has come again, but I'm just being realistic, honestly. Like I have nothing against the boy. I like him. I want him to do well, but I'm just being realistic. This is not an attribute that stands out or anything like that. What really stands out for me is his physicality, is his strength, and is how he can hold on to the ball and bring it forward.
Hmm.
You
How
know,
many people that can shoot the ball like Uche now meet with?
No, but I mean, but that's a different skill from what we're talking about exactly.
Hmm.
Somebody said he can play the DM pivot role. Have you seen him do it? Before you say, "Oh, IoT is being biased," biased for what? Biased for in favor of who? Biased why? Why would I not want him to play it if he can play it?
Hmm.
But you say he can play the pivot role. No, he cannot. Have you seen the boy play with his back to the opponent's goal? Have you seen him play facing his own goal? Have you seen him play on the turn? No. So for you to just say he can do it is guesswork. And I don't think that we're in a position for us to start guessing. When maybe in friendlies they can try him in the role and see how he does, but we've not seen him do it for people that are saying, oh, he can. That's just you assuming because you like the boy, But again, if people want to always just look at things with emotional and not with empirical data and facts and what has actually been done, then that's fine. I don't want to be debating people on this. But I will say I like his ability on the ball. I like his strength. I like his physicality. I like how he can win fouls. If you watched my tactical breakdown of his game, these are all things that I discussed and these are all things that I highlighted. But again, I will say in the final third, that's where I think he can improve. That's where I think he can improve. I'm not saying he cannot do a job there, but I think he has a lot to improve. Even in the Jamaica game, there was one pass that he tried to find that there was just a lack of communication between him and I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Arokodari or somebody towards the end of the game. And it's just that skill that he can get. When he's playing a little bit deeper, he can see the game a bit more and he can play some good passes. But when it's close in and around the penalty area, even if you look at his statistics, which I did when we were doing the tactical analysis, you will see that a lot of the time when he drives the ball forward, I think it was like 70 something percent of the time that he ends up losing the ball.
Hmm.
After, so it's like these are things that he can improve on, but he's a very, very good young player and he's somebody that will do better. He's somebody that will do better. Okay.
But
I
I want to just ask you a question too,
okay, go
just
on.
before we leave him. Why do you think a team like Atletico wants to get him?
Because of his physicality and his presence on the field, I think. The energy, the physicality, the presence on the field. I think that those are qualities that will help any team. And we know the kind of team that Atletico is now. We know the kind of players that they like. Will he go to Atletico and start? I don't know that for a fact, but he can definitely provide them some good, ability in their team. Is he going to go and start ahead of Rodrigo De Paul? I don't know. Is he going to start ahead of Koke? I don't know. Is he going to start ahead of Conor Gallagher? I don't know. Those guys all have better ability on the ball than he does. That's just the
Hmm.
reality as of today. But he's a young player. Koke is old. Maybe they are looking at him as potentially one for the future, one that can give them some good quality off of the bench. Again, like I said, I really, really like his ability to press from the front. I really like
Hmm.
the fact that he can win free kicks in dangerous positions, where with his strength and with his ability to shield the ball. So he's one for the future. I think he's one for the future. No doubt about that. Real K is making a comment here. It says Christantus Uche is a revelation. First touch showed he is a baller. He is a threat to Onyeka, and I'm excited to see him and Fisayo in midfield. Smila, do you think he's a threat to Onyeka?
Yeah, yeah. I think that is the most likely role he can take.
Yeah, because Onyeka is playing more of that box to box role,
Box to box
and
role.
just like this, the same way I'm talking about him not being good in the final third, Onyeka is also not very good in the final third.
Yeah.
So in fact, he's probably better than Onyeka in the final third.
Yeah, very,
You
very,
know,
very. 11 goals contribution this season. How many goals did he contribute?
so is Onyeka that he can potentially replace in that midfield too? I think so. I think so as well.
Hmm.
Okay, lots of comments. I have another comment here. Viral Moments is saying, let us see him play first. Let us see where Shell plays him. He is a good addition. I agree, he's a good addition. And like we said, that is why Eric Shell is the one that gets paid the big bucks to make these decisions. That's why Shell is the one that gets paid the big bucks to make these decisions. It's going to be interesting to see how he uses him. But the role he played against Jamaica was good. I'm also interested in seeing him potentially play that Chukwueze. I know Chukwueze did very well, but I'm interested to see how Uchi rather can potentially do in that role. And we'll see how things go from there. Okay, let us move forward very, very quickly. Smith, let us talk about another player. Let us talk about another player. Samuel Chukwueze. While talking about Uche, we've mentioned him a couple times. Chukwueze was lauded by many, many fans after the game against Jamaica for his contribution, not only the goal that he scored, but also his creative force that he brought to the team. It's been like the age-old question, the question that we've been asking for such a long time. Why is Samuel Chukwueze such an on and off player? What do you think? You are a fan of Eric Shell. What do you think Eric Shell can do to bring out the best of Samuel on a constant basis?
So he needs to. I think he's seen. The way we see Chukwueze, Aisha is seeing Chukwueze like Juan Mata. He's seeing Chukwueze in the mood of Bernardo Silva. He's seeing Chukwueze in the mood of David Silva. You know, he would see Chukwueze in the mood of Brian Diaz.
Hmm.
Someone that can just be that half 10, in that role. But for me, all those players that you had mentioned, they had better qualities. That's Samu Chuku in that area. So for me, just realizing that this playing as a right wing is not helping Chukwueze again. Because Chukwueze will dribble to the left and people will mark him.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that he's going to dribble to the left and people will mark him. But when he's in the middle, he can cut like this and then go both ways. That makes it a lot difficult for defenders. If you look at the goal he scored against Jamaica, it was similar to the goal he scored against Rwanda in the AFCON qualifier. That's our first goal before they equalized. So it's just trying to look at, okay, this guy is so talented. What can I do to support him? But it's now left for Chukwueze to use this summer, because he opted out of the Russian friend, wanted to relax, and everything. He uses summer to maybe can redefine his own game. Because sometimes some of these big players, some of them starts, Ronaldo was a winger when he started for Man United, but he became the number 9 towards the end of his career. So Chukwueze can also be a number 10 now. But the only problem I see with Chukwueze is this. He needs to learn how to pass the ball. He needs to learn how to pass the ball. He needs to learn not to hold on to the ball too long. We know that dribbling is his number 1 quality. But it's not all the time you dribble. He needs to know that. You don't have the time in the box. It should be thankful to Ghana. They came with bad quality, out of shape players in that middle of the park. And Abdul Samed of Sutherland has not played maybe 1 game in the season. So he needs to understand exactly what he wants to do. And I think that with what Erisha is doing, and Erisha has been stubborn with Chukwueze. He has been playing in that role. If you look at the game against Rwanda, I watched that game again. It was indeed that was coaching Chukwueze where to position himself in that game against Rwanda. Chukwueze does not have that defensive awareness to play in that area too. Another thing too is that Chukwueze is now pressing very well under Eric Shell. So, in my opinion, I think he can grow in this role. And if Chukwueze could play this role very well, in fact, we will win the next AFCON.
Ismail, you like making these big predictions.
Yes, no. I just think that Nigeria will be unstoppable. IoT. I know that you still talk about the coach, but what you can admit is that now we are creating opportunities.
Yes, we are.
We are creating in all the games that we have played at this man. We're creating opportunities. We're just being wasteful. So before we don't create opportunity, it's only Osimhen that we just struggle and score 1 ball. We don't create, but now we create, and it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, Chukwueze is that player that you can be insulting him, and then 2 minutes later he does something brilliant,
Yeah.
and he makes you eat your words. But then you wonder, why can't he do this all the time? I I mean, this role that he's currently playing, yes, is doing okay. I would like to see him do it a little bit more. I just think that one thing that personally I want to see in Chukwueze's game is his dynamism. Is for him to just become a little bit more agile, not in terms of the physical agile. I mean, in terms of just, I'm using agile as a synonym for dynamic, changing things up a little bit, doing things on the fly. I think even in the Jamaica game, there was one moment where he was 1v1 against his defender at the edge of the box on the right hand side. And then he decided to run to the byline. And I thought, okay, Chukwueze is changing it up a little bit. Then he gets close to the byline, and guess what he tries to do? He tries to use the outside of his left foot to whip the ball into the box. And then I think either got blocked or the goalkeeper claimed it easily. And I'm thinking, like, bro, just try with your right foot. Like, just try. You if you are going to be a one-trick pony, then that one trick better be absolutely unstoppable. You have to be Iron Robin level if you are going to be a one-trick pony. Otherwise, you're going to be so easy to stop. And I think that that's one of the reasons why maybe Chukwueze is doing better in the center of the park than from the wide areas. Because when he's playing out wide and everybody in the stadium and everybody watching at home knows that he is going to cut this thing on his left foot and he is going to try to shoot or he's going to try to play across. It is so easy to defend if you're a good defender. Just show him onto the outside, show him onto the outside. When he eventually doesn't take the bait and he cuts onto his left foot, you're ready for him. But when he's playing in the middle, I think he has a bit more freedom to either keep dribbling, he can cut onto his right. I think that he also just needs to improve that final ball, that vision. Maybe because it's not something that a position that he plays naturally, he's not always thinking about that pass. Because sometimes Chukwueze tries to squeeze a pass, and I'm like, bro, like there was obviously no way that this pass was going to go through. So I think that that's a part of him that he can improve on and that he can get better at. But for this Unity Cup, I thought he did quite well. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him in Russia, so it's going to be until September in the World Cup qualifiers. I just hope that he can be a bit more dynamic. And coach Eric Shell, you said he looks at him as maybe a Bernardo Silva, a David Silva, that kind of player. I think that coach Eric Shell knows that Chukwueze is talented, and he believes that maybe he's going to be the one to bring out the best of Chukwueze. When a new coach comes into a team, it's always an opportunity for everybody to get a chance to shine. Even those that have been off form, those that have not been doing well. If the coach looks at you and says you are a talented player, the coach wants to give you a chance because they think that maybe the old coach didn't know how to use you, and maybe Chukwueze is somebody that he can use very well. So happy with Chukwueze's performance at the Unity Cup. I thought he did well, but I just want it to be consistent, man. I just want him to be, to be doing it for us game after game after game. Maybe you can have one bad game in every 10 matches, but not that you play 5 games and 4 of the games while wondering where you are. Environment is talking about Uche and says Uche is far better than Oyeka in final third and he can make more productive forward runs. Okay, that's what Environment is saying. Environment also says Chukwueze needs to be positionally aware as well. Talking about the positional awareness of Samuel Chukwueze. Adefolari Salami, thank you for your support. Much, much, much appreciated. He said, keep it up, keep it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Okay, let us talk about a couple other players. We're already running out of time, slowly but surely. Smilai, another player that I want us to talk about from this Unity Cup, Cyril Kolawole Dessas. 1 goal and 1 assist for Dessas in 2 matches. He's not going to Russia. He doesn't get the chance whenever it comes to the competitive matches. But after this Unity Cup, do you think Cyril Dessas has locked down his spot as one of at least the top 3 strikers for the Super Eagles?
For me, I think people have been clamoring for Jesus, and I said something years back that in terms of position, this guy is one of our best strikers. If you need somebody to come and help you, I said that was a mistake that Pascal did not take him to AFCON. It would have helped in that tournament. So if you need somebody to come and help you, I think that he's there. See, we're in the year of numbers. The numbers are there. Numbers speaks for him. I think 4 starts, 3 goals, 7 caps overall, none in competitive game. So if you see this guy, his movements, the way he runs, the way he drags his attacker out, the way he moves around the box is a striker that we should not do away with. It's a striker that deserves his chance. We have tried so many backup of Victor Osimhen, but I can tell you that Silvestres is the revelation of this Unity Cup. And I will say it clearly. Forget about his age. And we have argued about his age before. I don't want to go into that debate, of his age. He's better than Arokodare. Let's say the truth. I don't know. Maybe you're going to cut this one out because, but he's better than Arokodare. Arokodare does not head the ball well, despite his height. Now, four balls now, he misjudges. He mistimed his header. So, in my opinion, I just think that this guy's movements, intelligence deserve the chance at least to sit on the bench for Nigeria in a competitive game. Not for those that will just come and bring less impact.
Cyril Kolawole Dessas, good movement, good finishing, good energy, good all-round play. Quality player. I think I have to agree with you that it's better than Tolu Kudari. For me, when I look at a player like Desas that has scored goals consistently for 4 seasons, or even maybe five if you include his time in Charleroi. Was it Charleroi in Belgium? No, not Charleroi. Heracles Almelo
Yeah,
in the Netherlands.
yeah.
5 seasons of scoring 15 plus goals versus a player that has just had one season where he actually scored goals. I think we have to give Desas his due credit. Yes, he's 30 years old, but he's still very mobile. He's still very agile. His goal scoring record speaks for itself. I think that when we look at the kind of players that we have in the national team, Victor Osimhen is that very mobile, running the channels, physical presence in the box, good in the air, all round type of striker. Cyril Dessers is somebody that can play with his feet, that can make good runs, that can read the play very well. And I like him as a second option. Now, maybe Terry Murphy, but Murphy, of course, we need him to get back into his form and get back into his stride after coming from injuries. But in the absence of a player like Murphy, when I look at the other strikers, obviously Victor Boniface, but Boniface has not impressed for us so far. I think Cyril Dessers has to take that note. I spoke about Tolu Arokodare in the past. Even before he got called up, Smith, like if you remember earlier in the season when we're talking about his form and we're talking about him potentially getting a call up, and I kept on saying that the kind of player that he is, I'm not sure how well he would do for the Super Eagles. People were telling me, "Oh, what am I talking about? Blah blah blah. This one, that one, that one, that one." I'm not wishing him bad, but so far he has not really shown us that he can be a focal point for us and that he can lead the line. It looks like somebody that all he wants to do is just wait for the opportunity and get on the end of it. And the ones that have come his way so far, he has not taken them. The one good thing that he did was setting up Ola enough for that cross that Osimhen scored in the qualifying match.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like you mentioned, his ability in the air has not been even up to the level of what I have seen from him previously in Belgium. His ability on the ball is there, but is not that top level so far. So I think Desas has to be the second choice as of now. The only thing is that between now and September, a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can change.
Mm-hmm.
Players join new clubs, players start playing for the club, players start scoring goals. You don't know, maybe Desas now might be off form, maybe Arokodare is in form, maybe Boniface is off form, maybe Boniface is in form, Murphy is off, Murphy is on. We don't know. For all we know now, maybe Duro Simi has joined Stuttgart. The Duro Simi goes and scores 10 matches, and people say, oh, bring in. We don't know what can happen between now and September. But as of today that we are speaking, in June of 2012, I said 2025. I think Siridesas has to be the second, has to be the second option. I don't know why he has yet to get a chance in a competitive match, but it's time that we give him the opportunity. He's experienced, he's good on the ball, his movement is good, he can finish well enough. I know that his finishing sometimes makes Rangers fans pull out their heads, but he can finish well enough. At least compared to the other people, we've not seen Boniface finish top notch for us. We've not seen Arokodare finish top notch for us. Desas, at least we've seen him score some nice finishes for us. So I think he deserves his chance. He deserves his chance. I want to see him in September. As of today, I would like to see him in September. But Nigerians don't lose faith in Arokodare. You guys were the same people that hyped him up. Now that he's there, everybody, good, good. People are saying the match is better than him. Don't lose faith in Arokodare. Maybe. I always say we should not be losing faith in players too fast. Some people start slow, some people hit the ground running. Let's still give Arokodare the benefit of the doubt. In Russia now, maybe he will start. We'll see what he can do because, you know, let's see. What you want to say something, Bilal?
Two players on dryer. Yeah, yeah, in Russia. Boniface and,
we'll,
and
we'll get
Arokodare.
into it. Don't worry. We'll get into the
Yeah.
Russia squad in a little bit. Okay, let's move on quickly. We've spoken about Uche, Sodiq. We've spoken about Agu. We've spoken about Desas. Let us now talk about another debutant. This young boy, Benjamin Fredrick, man, made his debut in the game against Jamaica after being drafted in the squad last minute. Like a thief in the night, they brought him into the squad and he made his debut. And he got a lot of plaudits, a lot of praise from fans and media alike. Smith Layi, your thoughts on Benjamin Fredrick, his inclusion in the team, and his performance on his debut?
I know that execution raised a lot of eyebrows. I know that you are part of them. That you argue that it should not be there. But I can tell I understand you perfectly. I went to those, the Instagram live to listen to your opinion, and you have a valid reason to question his inclusion. But in, you know, nearly all countries, they have this thing called special talents. So, for example, now, I know that people will argue this thing. Uh, this guy, Rio Ferdinand, have been training with the England senior team even before his time in Leeds, before he started getting to the Leeds first team, because they saw that okay, Ferdinand will be a star. It's similar to what? Similar to Alan Shearer. So, you know, sometimes this is what these guys need.
Are we
Look at
comparing Fredrick to Ferdinand?
look at Maduka Okoye.
Hmm.
Maduka Okoye played for Nigeria when he was in Division 4.
Come on now.
No, now you have
Okay.
to call it when he was in Division 4.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
look at
yeah.
Maduka Okoye now. Sometimes this is what these players need to do well, but they must be special talents.
Mm.
They must be special talents. I said this thing before. Fredrick is different. I hyped him so much. The build up to the U20 World Cup last time around. He's a different player. He's like someone I see. Okay, Omero did not live up to this expectation. I think probably the future of the team. So I understand that he's still playing 21 football, which is not professional football in England. Impressed with what he did, but I also think that talents like this needs to be encouraged. These are talents. Don't say talent. That is exceptional. It's different from other talent too. I don't know. Maybe that is what Eric Chair used to, but Emma Fredericks is not the name of my.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me.
So Ismail, before we get into his performance itself, let's
Hmm.
just talk about this his inclusion. So when he was in the team, I said I didn't think that he earned his call up. Can we agree on that fact that he didn't earn his call up?
Yes, he
Okay.
did not deserve his
He
color.
did not earn his call up. But you are
Yeah,
saying that the reason why you are not mad at it is because you think he's a special talent and he's a
yeah,
talent that will come good at this age. I
yeah.
understand that point. I understand that point. For me, the way I kind of look at it is that, interestingly enough, had it been that he was called up maybe after the Under 20 World Cup now,
Hmm.
and it was like, okay, immediately after the tournament, he did well, he looked like a bright talent, and then he's in a senior national team, I would even look at it a bit differently from how I look at it now.
Hmm.
Because then I would agree more with, okay, you saw a special talent, you want the person to start training with the big boys straight away. But this was not what happened. He has now gone to settle in Brentford. He has been on the bench for the first team a couple times. So obviously that means that he's training with the
Hmm.
first team in Brentford for him to be on the
Hmm.
bench. He's been training with
Yeah.
them. But he plays most of his matches with the B team, with the under
Hmm.
21s. And then the players there felt like, okay, he was their player of the season. He won
Hmm.
an award. And then now, let's be realistic. We know that the reason ultimately why he got called up was Shemi Ajayi wasn't 100% and he was the closest player to the squad. Maybe
Hmm.
they also factored in the fact that, well, he's a very good young player, so it is an opportunity for him to come and show himself at this stage.
Hmm.
I just think that it doesn't set a good precedent. And we will talk about it more when we get into the Russia squad. I just think it doesn't set a good precedent because the same way you believe that Benjamin is a special talent and that's why it is fair, somebody else can tell you that, well, they believe that Daniel Bamei is a special talent, and that's
Hmm.
why he should be there. NPFL Warriors will tell you that they believe Ismail Sodiq is a special. I mean, you're shaking your head, but
No, no, no,
somebody
no.
can say that you get
I
somebody
have
can say
one
that that's
explanation for
their
that
own.
one.
Somebody can say that that's their
Continue.
own opinion. Another
Hmm.
person can bring in another young boy. Somebody can tell you that Ebenezer Hakot is a special talent, and that's why he should be there. So for me, I just think that the way it happened is not too ideal and doesn't set a good precedent going forward because I know that there is nowhere that there is a rule book of, oh, this is what a player needs to have before he can play for the national team. But I think that there needs to be certain standards, and I'm happy that he did very well. But I said it before the game that for me, even if he went to that match and he scored 10 goals, it did not change the fact that he should not have been there in the first place. Now that he's there, I cannot take it away from him. Congratulations to the boy. His family must be excited. His mentors are excited. He is excited. He is happy. I commented on his page that he did a good job and he should keep his head up because now that he has been in that moment, he needs to take it. It's like if somehow, maybe I gonna run for political office. Or let me know his politics. Maybe somebody sees me now. Smith Layi is my friend, and Smith Layi says, "AyoT, come and be the CEO of my company." Even if I did not deserve the position, and it's nepotism that made me get there. Now that I'm there, it's up to me to deliver so that people that are doubting me can keep quiet. So I'm happy that he grabbed his opportunity with both hands, and he impressed. It is now a case of whether he can keep it up and can keep improving so that he can become the player, the special player that you think he is supposed to be or that you think he can be in the future. But let us get into his performance. As far as the game against Jamaica, what did you think of his performance and how he played?
He did well. He did well. He did well. There's some things, Nigerians, we like flashy player. A player with this swag on the ball, and I wasn't surprised. That's why we're carried away about what Uche did, in those 15 minutes. So we like a player that can control the ball, a player that can pass the ball well. He can do all those things. He can do it very well. But sometimes too, positional awareness, it's not there yet. He needs somebody to mentor him. Unfortunately, Ogu cannot mentor him. Ogu also needs mentor, in that regard. So for me, he did well, and that is his play. He likes to beat press with his pass. That is one good thing about him. He can beat 3 or 4 players with his pass, accurate pass. He can drive with the ball forward if he sees any space and initiate what attack. One of his games. That's one of his games. Despite that his height, he's very strong in the air. Despite his height, he's very strong in the air. That's why you say Agu should work on that. Very strong in the air, and also too, he's good 1v1. But this against Jamaica, the reggae boys. I don't know what Jamaica took before they came to the game, so we cannot use that one to assure judging.
So,
But
like, are you stereotyping the Jamaicans?
I'm just giving my own general observation about Jamaicans. So, so for me, I think overall he did well. And just to address one point that you actually made, it was meant to be in the team, to train with the team, not to play. But the level of the MPFL players scored was so bad that Unduka Junior, if I Onyebuchi, all of them could not displace him. So bad. So they had to play that boy. So bad. And that tells you again about the level of the MPFL players in our national team.
Okay. I'll just say on his performance, I was impressed with the fact that for a player that has never played first team football at any real level before, he
No, he
was.
played for Nasarawa United.
Yeah, that's why I said any real level. As someone that has not played first team at any real level, I like how composed he was. When you are making your debut like that, playing for Nigeria, even though it's a friendly, the pressure of playing for Nigeria. It is very easy for you to just be nervous
Mm.
and for you to not really know what to do and be jittery. But he showed confidence, he showed composure, he didn't put a foot wrong. I wasn't as excited as other people were, honestly, because I don't think he did anything spectacular in the match. He didn't have tackles to make other than the one that he covered for Sodiq Ismail. And like you mentioned, I wouldn't deep dive into it. I spoke about it after the game. He was getting a bit too attracted to the ball in situations where he did not necessarily need to be attracted to the ball. And he wasn't necessarily occupying the right position. His communication with Igor Ogbu, who is also an upcoming defender, wasn't good because they were leaving gaps that they should not have left. When he plays against a real striker and a real team that tests him more, that makes him go into 1v1s, that makes him go into duels, it's been interesting to see how he develops. But for a young player, I thought he did quite well. If he starts against Russia, I think Russia is going to be a tougher test than Jamaica. So it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be interesting to see how he can hold his own. I think that they will probably play Shemi and Igor, but let's see what happens. If Shemi is not fit, then maybe he might get a start against Russia as well. I think he's one for the future. Do I think he should be in the Super Eagles team in September? No, I do not. I still think that the senior men, Basis, the Ekongs, the Ajais, even Igor still probably takes a place
But
ahead of
what if he joins a French league and start doing so well in the French league?
between August and September.
Yeah, play
So
like
if
four
he
games.
plays 4 matches in French League One and he does well in four
Yeah, we
matches,
call
we're
him.
talking about. I mean, let's see, Sha. I mean, now that he's already in the mix, fine, they might want to call him. But the reality of it is that the boy has a lot that he still needs to work on. He
Sorry,
is a
sorry.
bright young player, but he has things to work on.
AyoT, sorry. Somebody asked me a question. That's my brother Salam so Otumba Salam so. He said that who led the defense against Jamaica? You know the
Who
most
led?
was it the most experienced?
No, he wasn't the most experienced now, but
No, the most experienced was the right back. Was it
where
not?
was Sodiq Ismail? Yeah.
Who led that defense that day?
Who led that defense that day?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I would say it was Igor.
Igor.
Yeah, because I mean, Igor was the one that was getting into the aerial duels. Igor was the one that was, playing in the central position. Like we said, Benjamin's role in that game was largely to cover up for Ismail because
Mm-hmm.
Ismail was getting cut out a little bit too much, and it was getting trying to get those crosses. But for me, another thing is that when I think for one of the goals, there was another player that okay, I can even understand why he was drifting wide in that instance. But for me, if you're going to leave the center of the defense and you're going to go out wide to assist your fullback, then you have to be doing a good job of stopping the cross from coming in. Because if you just go out wide, leave your other center back isolated, and then not get on the end of the cross, you might as well have stayed to offer a presence in the center of the box. But that's a story for another day. I just think that there was nothing amazing. It was just he did the basics right. He didn't put a foot wrong. Um, Passed the ball forward, progressed it quite well. Made one tackle, and that was about it. I know that again. I always say it's about Nigerian fans. People say IoT has come, but I don't get too excited like that. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. For me, the way people were talking, so good, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, come on, guys. But let's see, Sha. I think he's a good young player. I think he has talent. When footballers tell you that somebody is good, it's usually a sign that the player is actually a very good player. So the more he plays, when he starts to play first team football, the more he develops. I think he's a future Super Eagle. I just don't think that he's there yet. I just don't think that he's there yet. If anybody wants me to just come and hype him, hype him, hype him, hype him, I'll be lying to you. Um, but
So can you take comment of Tisgogo? It's
yeah,
super
yeah,
chat.
I'm coming there. So Viral Moment said when IoT was talking about Olu, he was right after all. So that's what Viral Moment is saying. We also have the comment from TC Gogo. It said, I said Nigeria made history for the first time, agent and player in the same lineup. TC Gogo is shaking tables that have been steady. Is shaking tables that have been steady. I'm not going to comment on this. Who is TC Gogo? Tell us who is the agent and who is the player that were on the field at the same time together. For all of you that are telling me I'm saying one thing or the other about Benjamin, leave your comments with super chat so that I can acknowledge it and I can talk about. But I don't know. You guys always want players to just be hyped and hyped and hyped, and then if the player now eventually shows some weaknesses, yeah, the same people that will come and insult the person. Yeah, the same people that will come and insult the person. But when I am objective from the start, I'm the one that I don't like this, I don't like that. Okay, okay. I'll not talk too much. One thing that I know that always proves me right 95% of the time is time. It's time. This is not the first time that people will disagree with me on certain topics. Um, Again, the boy is a good player, but I don't think he's ready quite yet to bench any of the more experienced players. Okay, Smith Layi, very quickly, let's talk about Eric Shell. Overall, this Unity Cup was supposed to be an opportunity for Coach Eric Shell to test out certain new players. We said the Chan players, a chance for him to see who is going to be going into the tournament with, and to see some new faces like Agu, ECC. After the two matches that we played in the Unity Cup, what are some of the major takeaways? What are the major learnings? What can we say about Eric Shell after this Unity Cup?
One, I think that there are some major areas that he actually wanted to address when he left. When he actually was done that two qualifiers for the World Cup. One, he wanted a different striker, and I think that area was addressed slightly. I think he can. Solutions can give Nigeria a different option. He combines well, with play than Tolu Arokodare. He can even give an assist. If you remember the runs for Simon and he passed the ball to Simon for that first goal against Jamaica, he can do that. So it's giving him a different option. He said he wants somebody different from Victor Osimhen, not Victor, two type of Victor striker up front. He wants somebody different. So I think Desas is slightly different from Victor Osimhen. So that one was answered. He said where the box to box midfielder. One thing or the other, Frank Onyeka gave him the necessary energy in that team that Onyedika was, take it or leave it, did not give, in those two World Cup qualifiers. So Frank Onyeka gave that energy. And Samuel Chuku is a two, can play well if there's enough protection behind it. So that one also actually what answered. And also Felix Agu, another player that we have been looking for a left back for so long. And he's now someone that understands the game very well. So I think, those four players like I should mention, I think he addressed some of those things. So he wanted to get, some of those players. And I think that at least, three those four questions were actually what answered in this Unity Cup.
You said four questions that have been
Yeah,
answered.
a left back, a box to box, a second striker, and also Samu Chuku is being able to play very well with enough protection.
Well said. I think I would agree on the left back one for sure. I would agree on a second striker option in Cyril Dessers. I think we've also seen a quality midfielder in Christantus Uche.
Uche.
Overall, I think Eric Shell, given the circumstances, given the resources, the tools that he had in his toolbox, I think he did quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that we should be beating Jamaica in 90 minutes. I know people will say AyoT is too harsh, blah, 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 but I think that we should be beating Jamaica
With which players?
in 90 minutes. Even with the players that we had, I still think we
With
should.
Ismail Sodiq and
I
Amiam
still,
Fredrick
I still think we should
and
be beating
Igor Ugu.
Jamaica. I still think we should be
With
beating
a League
Jamaica.
One player. With League One player.
I still think we should be beating Jamaica in 90 minutes. I mean, maybe I just hold our national team to that kind of high standard. I think we should be beating Jamaica in 90 minutes. I
Yeah, but
understand it
if you
was
ask Ismail Sodiq now, you Jamaica.
no, I
When
understand
you
it
put
was
the
not our
big
strongest team, but I also understand that it wasn't Jamaica's strongest team either. And I think that given the circumstances, I know like okay, we made some certain mistakes. Maybe we considered those goals just because of the naivety and the inexperience of our defenders. Going forward, we could have created maybe one or two more chances. We could have done a bit better. The coach is mixing and matching, is learning things. I'm not criticizing the coach. I just think we should be beating Jamaica. And I don't think that that's too much for us to ask for. I think the Ghanaians that better than Jamaica, we beat Ghana now, so we should be beating Jamaica. But nevertheless, at least he won. At least he won. So I'm not going to knock him at all.
Now you guys ask me the drawback.
I'll give Eric Shell a 6.5 out of 10.
You gonna give me a drawback. I want to talk about the drawback. So let's talk about the drawback slightly. Like
Okay.
tops. Okay. For me, I just think that there's some areas I think that he failed to address, and he lost the opportunity to test some decent players in this team. For me, despite watching Ismail Sodiq play for Raymond Stars and the Raymond Stars Stadium, I just think that we should have called him up. I think calling Ismail Sodiq is a waste of slots. I think I've looked for maybe a right back playing in this Scandinavian country, maybe Denmark or Holland or anywhere, to come in that position and see what can actually what offer. For me, I think there's some players that can have been better. Players like Philip Otele, I don't maybe available to play. I think there's some players like maybe probably like Wafolayan, or just players that can just offer. I mean, okay, they have this quality. Come and test yourself. It was this Unity Cup, and we discovered players like was it Obodo. So let's just look
Mm.
for ways to test, new players. For example, now the MPFL experiment failed, and it failed woefully. There was a right back in that team. I was just getting information now that they were just correcting him all the time, all the time. The guy did not even dress throughout, and he was one of the best right back in the Nigerian Premier League. He even played for Nigeria in the tournament. So he just had that opportunity to test some like maybe players in like all these less popular leagues. Even for me now, if he brings Hamza to get or he brings some other guys in the French league or Backbone just to come and try them in this tournament, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I just think that the NPFL experiment failed, and that is the only drawback I should see. In all, I will not be too hard to give him 6.5. I think he scored 8 out of 10.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, okay. That's
Yeah.
high. High
If you have, see, we are even lucky that Ismail Sodiq did not get a red card.
It's because it's a friendly.
If you have Ismail Sodiq in the team, we will not be Jamaica. If we had like just a half decent right back, we will not lose that game. We will not draw that game.
Mm,
Half decent right back. We will not draw that game. It
mm,
was the weak link in that team, and we paid for it.
Okay. Okay. Um, Viral Moment says beating Jamaica with very tired players. Don't forget that some of them just finished the league. Jamaican players also, they are also professional and they also played and finished their league. Maybe you say because maybe their own players are in League One, they finished it earlier than those that are playing in the Premier League and in the La Liga. Maybe, but Jamaican players are tired as well. I don't think that's an excuse. The only thing that I would say can be an excuse is that okay, Sodiq cost us goals, but at the end of the day,
It's part of the team.
it's part of the team. Exactly. It's part of the team. So I wouldn't use that because if Sodiq, when he assisted against Ghana, we did not come and say, but Sodiq was on the team, blah, blah, blah. So
I wish he didn't assist again.
because
Can take
that's
it
the one
away.
that is hanging off for him now. That he has to, because when he assisted against Ghana, he criticized his goal count, the assist counted towards a goal that helped us. So now when he makes mistake, we now want to say it's because it's Sodiq. So I just think it's part of the team. We should have, in my opinion, we should have been winning that game in 90 minutes. Maybe created a few chances better. Tolari could have done better, but it's all part of the game. It's all part of football. I think it's just about how we can learn and see how we can do better for the future. Going forward. Going forward. Um, TC Gogo says he wanted to use karate chop on the winger's leg. No,
It
that
was
tackle
horrible.
was horrible. It was something. It was something. It was something. Um, okay. I have another comment from Viral Moment. He says, Eric Shell has a lot of work to do. It will be a miracle if we go to the World Cup. Sadly, the change in this squad for this window isn't helpful for him. May God give him strength, Sha. He needs to move with the direction in squad selection. And I will say Eric Shell, like, is not having it easy. That's for sure. With all the chops and changes, with all the MPFL coming in, etc. He's not having it easy because for any coach, you want to have your best legs available so that you can really implement your ideas. And unfortunately, he doesn't have that luxury of having his best legs available. And even looking ahead to the game that we're about to play against Russia, he still doesn't have many of his best legs available. Let us talk about that game very quickly and wrap up for this evening. We're already over time, so we have to fire on very very quickly. But the team for the Russia friendly has been changed drastically from the first squad that was announced. As you can see, the initial list is on the left, the new list is on the right. Goalkeepers Maduka Okoye and Amasu Basege remain in the squad. William Trustekong remains in. Olaino is out, so the Ismaila is in. Igor Ogbu, Batasai Samo, Bruno Yemechi, and Ajayi stay in. And then in comes Benjamin. Fredrick. In midfield, Xavier Isaac is in. Wilfred Ndidi is out. Frank Onyeka is still in the squad. Christantus Uche is still in the squad. Papa Mustafa is still in the squad. Dele Bashiru and Oyedika are still in the squad as well. And then forwards, Chukwueze has withdrawn. Moses Simon stays in. Victor Boniface stays in. Arokodare stays in. Nathan Tella, Sadiq Umar have withdrawn from the squad. Kelechi Anacho also withdrawn from the squad. And then in comes Olusegun Olakunle. That is the squad for the Super Eagles to face Russia. So, like, I don't know if you heard me, but when I was talking about Benjamin Frederick's inclusion in the national team on, I think it was on Humble Henry's live, I was saying, if I'm the agent of Olakunle Olusegun, I will tell him, brother, just go and get your bag ready. Stay near the camp because they free need you, they free call you. And now he has been called up to the national team. This is why I was talking about the Fredrick thing, and I said it does not set a good precedent. Because if we can be inviting players into the national team simply because of proximity, then next time we have match, if the match is in France, every player that plays in France will just pack their bags and be waiting for them to call them up. If the match is in Spain, anybody that plays in Spain will pack their bag and go and wait for call up. If it's in Austria, same thing. If they bring the game to Canada, I will tell my friend Ibrahim Sunusi, guy, get ready because they feel need you, they feel call you. And I don't think proximity should be a reason for people getting call ups to the senior national team. Now, between Olakunle Olusegun and Benjamin Fredrick, Olusegun even has more on his resume to even say, okay, maybe he deserves it a little bit more. Even though I still don't think he's one of our better wingers, but I mean, he's a Russian champion. He just won the league. He has been playing professionally for a number of years now. Somebody can come and tell you, well, he's a special talent. So why don't we call him? Because I mean, it was a propped up talent back in the day. People were bigging him up. He just didn't develop like some people expect him to develop. Um, but I mean, this list has been largely trimmed down. Eric Shell now has only 19 players to go and do battle with. The forward line of the Super Eagles, for the first time in a very long time, we have more midfielders than forwards in the national team. Smilai, this friendly against Russia, what are you expecting? First of all, what do you think of the team? What do you think of Olakunle Olusegun's debut call up? And what can we expect from the friendly?
I just think that I will start with those that organize the friendly game. Shame on them. If you go and look at the type of friendly that Russia has been playing against Kuwait, Iraq, go and check the type of friendly I've been playing for a long time. I don't know, maybe I can just put that one slightly up so you know the type of player, the type of team that you want to go and play against. My issue is this. If we keep on, we have a crucial World Cup qualifier, and it's going to be against an African team. So how come we are playing Russia? That is number one thing. Who sanctioned that thing? And was there any consultation with? Because I don't know why it's hard for us to play against Burkina Faso. To play against Guinea. Because we're going to play against Rwanda. Do we think we're going to learn anything from Russia? Why can't we organize friendly game in Uyo? That Uyo that we have won a World Cup qualifier. Let's go and test
So
ourselves
like,
here.
if we organize friendly game in Uyo, now we go pay logistics now.
Yes, but the problem is that these people doesn't look like see if they know what they're talking about. So let me just try and give you the friendlies that Russia have played. They play against Brunei. They beat Brunei 11-0. They play against Vietnam. They beat Vietnam 3-0. They play against Syria. Can you see? These are the type of teams that they have been playing against Syria. They play against Grenada. They beat Grenada 5-0. They played against Zambia.
Zambia.
They beat Zambia 5-0. Now Nigeria. Imagine Nigeria alongside with this war-torn country. It's a shame. It's a big shame. And to shame on the NFF too for organizing this bad friendly game for Nigeria. Looking at the game in total, I'm happy that they arrived safely. Because if you are traveling from yesterday and you just arrived, if I'm happy that they arrived safely, and I hope that they will also come back safely too. That's the most important thing. I'm not surprised that most of them actually pulled out of this team because of Felix. But if it's me too, if you are saying that they want to pay me gold money there, I will not even go to go and play in that friendly game. So for me, about the Scott team and about Olusegun, I think that they will, just like you, they will call him up too. But his own call up is different from Benjamin Felix call up. Fredrick was playing amateur football, for in England. But his own is playing pro. You can argue for him, because he's replacing his Intella that couldn't travel, and also Samu Chuku in that regard. Don't be surprised that you will see them calling Cobma. Maybe you just updated this again. They will call Cobman or is it not Cobman?
Yeah,
What's
Moses Kobna.
called
Yeah.
Moses Cobna? Yeah, Cobna. So for me, I think another friendly, very useless friendly game. You
Mm,
know, I wish the team the very best of luck in that game. I just think that they are not really helping this man. This is not the type of friendly we used to prepare for the game against Rwanda. You should
mm,
go and play a team like Tanzania. Things like that.
mm.
That's my take
You
on the
know,
game.
I mean, it is a like you mentioned. The fact that we are going to play in a country that is in an active war, I
Hmm.
think has to we have to say a little bit of shame on us.
Hmm.
Um, Money drives everything in the world. Money drives everything in football, but sometimes maybe money is not the most important factor. I
Hmm.
said this when I spoke earlier that not today that if we are saying we are against the war in Ukraine, then how can we be playing against Russia?
Hmm.
It doesn't send the right signals. I'm not surprised that some players pulled out. They might not necessarily say it's because of the war or anything, but I think that would definitely factor into some players thinking, why am I going to play in Russia? It doesn't make too much sense. Most of the players that are still in the squad are players that have something to prove, are players
Hmm.
that are fighting for their sport. Maduka Okoye no fit say no one go play now. He's somebody that has been looking for shirt since. The ones that are maybe established that are still there are the Ekongs, the Simons, and the Ajais. Everybody else essentially is somebody that's small thing they fit bench you.
Hmm.
All the regulars that know that they are not really too worried about their sports, they pulled out the Olainos, the Chukwuezes, the
Hmm.
Anachos, all those ones pulled out because they are not really thinking about that. So it's a bit
Even Didi.
shameful, even in Didi, exactly. So it's a bit shameful, but money is the driving force, man. I don't know why our match agent, that's the game that he decided to organize for us. I don't know if we couldn't get anybody else. But ultimately, that the Super Eagles, the NFF don't want to pay for anything. So
Hmm.
it's about, it's about the money. And if we say we should play somebody in Uyo, we're going to have to organize logistics. We're going to have to set everything up. It's going to cost us some thousands, and they don't want to spend that kind of money. So we're essentially we're what they call it for hire. The highest
Hmm.
bidder will play. Will go and play. It doesn't matter where the match is. As somebody mentioned that some of it could be issues of players that are playing in Europe. They don't want any potential issue if they go to Russia. One thing happen. You never know. All these countries that are under dictatorship, they can just say, you are playing in this country. They've been sending weapons to Ukraine. Boom, oh yeah, we hold you. You say you're not going again. You
See,
never know.
see.
Like, it sounds crazy, but anything can happen in these situations. I mean,
Hmm.
look at the American girl, the basketball player that went to Russia and they caught her with TBD something, and then they
Hmm.
used her as political prisoner. They had to
Hmm.
exchange and release a prisoner from America. So you
Hmm.
never can tell what would happen in these situations. It sounds crazy, but anything can happen. Somebody here said people that survived the Libya trauma, may they can't go Russia, may they can't go Russia again. It is crazy, but that's it about Nigerian football. For Russia, their team is largely a team of home-based players. I think
Hmm.
there are some players, there are a few of them that play abroad, but it's largely players that play in Zenit, in Rostov, CSK Moscow, Lokomotiv Moscow. It is largely their home-based players. But nevertheless, I think it's going to be a good test for us. We're there, we're going to honor the game, we're going to play football. I think it's going to be a good test for us. I think the Russians are going to be stronger than the Jamaicans and probably the Ghanaians were. I know that Eric Shaw doesn't have his full complement of players, but I'm hoping that he's still able to put out a good side. I'm hoping that they're still able to give us a good performance. And hopefully, we are able to see some positives to take out of the game. I don't know exactly where the game is going to be airing, but we look forward to seeing it, potentially watching on TV. If I'm able to stream it, I will. If I'm able to watch along, I will. Nevertheless, Sha, I wish we had been playing somebody else than Russia. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, now who won't pay us money now we go play against? Now one players money now we will play against. Okay, because we're out of time, let us just quickly take calls and then we'll wrap up for this evening. I want to thank everybody for sticking with us this long. Your engagement has been a pleasure. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the comments, every single thing. If you are yet to like the video, because more than half of you have still not liked the video, please, please, please hit the like button. Now, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We are live every Monday, every Tuesday, Gone Football every Friday. We are here on every match day. There's so much content. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. Like, subscribe. There's so much Nigerian football content, interviews, debates, shows like this, podcast, and so much more. Let us take a couple callers and then we'll call it an evening. The first caller that I have today is Mr. Donny. Mr. Donny, welcome, sir. Oh no, this is X code, not Donny. Sorry.
It's
Okay,
not
X
done.
code. Sorry. Welcome, sir.
Okay. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. This is morning in Nigeria. Yeah, good morning, Smith Layi. Question to ask first. I chat. I tried to be on the channel, but it kept rejecting my card.
Maybe I don't know
I
if
don't
I'll
know
say maybe it's because you're in Nigeria.
why.
But you can keep trying. You can keep trying.
They don't segregate us.
Hey.
They don't segregate us.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a
But
joke.
yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I beg you. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, I just want to speak about two things. The Super Falcons and the I'll start from the Super Falcons because I'm very passionate about that thing. Um, for Super Falcons, it's really sad. I know I've come here a lot and I've been wailing and wailing about disrespect. It's still sad. You see that thing they tried with Cameroon, that everybody is saying, no, it's Feka fault, that is our fault. Yeah, I agree. They share some of the blame. But us, we didn't plan the thing well. We didn't prepare well. Now they'll have to play one game and maybe they'll be in a camp. And I think they have a friendly with Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. They have a friendly with Portugal. So they have to invite their whole base of.
The one
Can you
before
hear me?
Portugal, the one against Portugal is just before the WAFCON.
Yes, okay, yeah. So that is a lot of disrespect. They dare not try this with Super Eagles. They dare not, but it is what it is. As for positives, there are some positives. The negatives, though. Sodiq Ismail, first game he was okay. The first game he was okay against Ghana. Even though the goal, he was at fault for it. Twice he lost his marker, especially one that Andre Ayew out jumped him and headed the ball,
Jordan Ayew.
but he missed it. But, okay, sorry, Jordan Ayew. I dey always mistake them. No. The second game he wasn't it at all. But I disagree with Smith Layi though on the level of MPFL. There are players that are in MPFL that have gone on to have good careers. I disagree with him
Name one.
on that.
Name one apart from
We
Chibuike.
shouldn't use
Name anybody. In the last
Chibuike
10 or
Waimu.
yeah, apart from Chibuike, just name one player in the last 12 years.
Ibrahim Olawoyin. Now, guy. How far?
I'm just saying that to say that you play in the top 10 European leagues and you come and cement your spot in Super Eagles. No MPFL player have cemented their spot apart from Nwabali in the last 10 years. Go and check the records. In the last 10 to come and say, okay, you went to Europe, come play for Super Eagles. Nobody. Their level is not Super Eagles level. Even if they're that good.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you, sir. I hear you, sir. And what you are saying to an extent is valid. But I disagree with you because there are some and even AyoT this guy, Chisom Ebechulam, that's fantastic interview. All the guy kept saying was the numbers. That was all. Some of these people they don't care about legacy. It's true now. They don't care about legacy. They don't want money. So they don't bother to listen. Some of them
No,
actually have had good careers.
but X
Thank
code.
you.
Sorry,
Eh?
see, let me just sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you, but You know that if the numbers in Nigeria were decent at best, their care for the numbers would be reduced a little bit. Sikiru is the highest paid player in
Facts.
Nigeria, making 1 million. Compared to their counterparts, that's nothing. That's less than $1,000 a month. So if you are making less than
Yes,
$1,000 a month, if you are making less
yes,
than $1,000, and you are seeing people that are making that 10 times that in 1 week, you say you care about the numbers. But if let's say players in the MPFL, if some of them were
yes,
getting
yes.
paid maybe even 10 million, they will be less concerned about the numbers like that to be going to South Sudan or going to Libya.
Yes,
Um,
you are right. You are right. I do agree with you. These guys don't really care about legacy, and some of them, I don't want to use and John, but there are some of them that have gone on to have good careers.
that's why I say that you
You
should just
understand? They
name
have
one
just not
that
been fortunate with.
just one that have made Super Eagle.
Let's not drag this matter so that I can bring somebody else. So yeah, just finish up your point. X code. Finish up.
One, one.
Okay, so okay, so my point is this: we should do better. You know, I feel we need more ball people that can Oyedika
Mm-hmm.
type of footballers, people who can hold the ball. And all. I think apart from Oyedika, we don't have ball carriers. You know, people who can manipulate the ball to
Mm-hmm.
any angle. So that's it. I beg, may
So
other
I
people
want to
talk
just
before Layi go chop
before
me
you
wrong.
go, I will say this thing here now. All the MPFA player that's been called up is for an agenda and it's through the back door. One of them that was called up under Guavon, Aminu, is the one on the bench on Coritan. See, all of them have been through the back door.
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
boy
Fact.
was arguably the best defender in the MPFL. The best defender too, after Tiaminu, that went to Spain. He went to Villarreal Team B. He has been sent home now. He could not even make it. He could not play for the second team of Villarreal in the fourth or fifth division. He has been sent home now. This was a soldier in the MPFA. He was in Rivers, he was in Sunshine. Big man. Has been sent home now. So, my brother, we need
I
state
don't
of
want to
emergency
debate.
now for Nigerian football.
I don't want to debate this, but I can bring more
Don't
points.
worry.
But I
Another
don't
thing.
want to debate
All
it.
right.
But thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much
much.
to
Thank you.
IoT. Thank
Thank you.
you. There
All
are
right.
another day.
Thank you, Xcode. Xcode is fighting for the MPFL. It's one of those MPFL warriors that I spoke about earlier. The champion for the local league. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll take one more caller this evening. You have 3 minutes. Victory, welcome, sir.
Wow. Good evening, AyoT. Good evening, Smith Layi. It's been a while.
Good evening. Good
I
evening.
tried
Your
calling.
internet is working today.
I
Thank
tried
God.
calling. I I don't know. I'm grateful to. I tried calling after the Nigerian Super Eagles match, and it was just frustrating. Here, the internet was so bad. It was just so bad. But you can hear me right now.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Why I initially wanted to was of deserts. Like I wanted to call on that day to lay my point to IoT. Like I wanted to like call and tell IoT. I said it. I said it. The Boston was like all my life when he switches allegiance to play for Nigeria, even when he didn't get the call up during the time of I think is it before Pesero, I think in time of gonna roll, then pandemic or something happened, he couldn't feature him team. Know, Desres as I think he has given everybody a benefit of that no, he needs to come to an official match with the Super Eagles. He has the numbers. He has done it over and over time. He's playing for a good club. So at least he should play behind Usaj. Desert is good in position. You understand? He's good in pace. He knows what to do. He's not slow. He's intelligent. You understand? He takes an. I'm very sure. I'm not trying to shade anybody here, but I can tell you for a fact that pass that Sodiq Omar gave to Desert If na Boniface, I'm not shading him now. I don't hate him.
Sodiq
If na
Ismail, you mean?
Boniface, he might not score. Sorry, Ismail, sorry. If na Boniface, I'm not shading, he might not score. Even if it's Tolu too might not score. I'm not going hard on Tolu because I feel maybe okay, the pressure for him want to quickly impress, you understand. You same deserts have shaded many times. I this channel where people were saying that they should not call this same channel, comment section, they were shouting they should not call deserts. I was like, you guys, call this guy some guy. At least if I don't watch his match, I watch the highlights on YouTube when he was still functioning in He played for a club in the last is it Europa League where he had goal. This guy has torn around Europe. He has showed you guys that come on, I am fit in one of his one of the interview he did on a particular popular, I will not mention this in a channel. This sport journalists that go around with NF guys channel. He was saying that truly he was hot, that he had for Super Eagles in an official match. You understand? So he really deserves to feature for the Super Eagles. I wish he will play for the Super Eagles against our next World Cup qualifiers. And Christantus Uche, now I will not judge him on the other performance, but I love the way he played against Jamaica. There was a time they gave him pass. Go back as normal Super Eagles midfielder. The guy would play like displays his marker. It was fit, it was strong. Understand? He may not be that classical, so IoT or maybe that intelligence, but at strength for African games on African soil. You understand? I don't know if it's going to be loud, if it's going for full 90 minutes, but when you're playing the likes of African, like what Simlai said, you need that strength for threat. At least you should be able to dwell with the ball. Then I've said it times down. I don't know why Eric Chelsea called Frank Oyeka for our last qualifier. Like Frank is indeed the tank. He plays for Super Eagles. This guy played AFCON. Sometimes that it be like say NFF they finger that list. When I mean finger, like they used to like tamper with the list because you before the list comes out, you like can give you a list of people that play. Is a list from nowhere and people that you're expecting to be there. When I check the list, I'm like, why is Frank not in this list? That's the last World Cup qualifiers. Now you could see that okay, he has given his own. You know that Indeed is very good. Like is good. You could, like the pass he gave was
Yeah,
sublime,
20
intelligent
seconds
pass. You
victory,
understand?
20 seconds.
But for I'm sorry. For strength and stability, you need to pack in the like. There's one thing remember small when you want to patch something, you put cloth and paper to patch something so that the thing can fit well. You patch your shoe so the shoe can fit well. That's what you need to do to Indy. You need to patch Indy with some guys that okay, strength and like Papa pairing of Papa Daniel, Frank Oyeka and Indy was nice. You understand? You could say that okay, the space that Indy did not did much in the area of running too much because Papa Daniel was doing the running, Oyeka was in hard tackles. So Indy was just like okay, supporting the defense and throwing passes. So you see, people like Iwobi, nice player, but sometimes Iwobi needs to sit down. It can run down these African teams because sometimes that's what we lack. And I just believe going forward, we should be able to actually get. I used to say every time on this channel, but he no go good if we no go World Cup. Like it's not going to be very very good.
All
So
right.
game of Russia, so that we can see
All right.
other try other guy like Philip Agu. That guy is good. Like you just call that guy again. The guy is good. Like I like the competition there. So the Init voice will not be too
Okay. Thank you very much, Victory.
easy to call again.
Thank you very
Like
much.
from
All right. That was Victory.
Yeah.
You know, I know I'd not give you too much time, but I think I gave you like 5+ minutes. So at least you were able
It's
to get
enough
your
now.
point out. We are well over time for today. So I want to just say a very, very big thank you to everyone that has been watching. Any new subscribers, welcome. Thank you. If you haven't liked the video, please like it now. Thank you to all those who supported during the program from Faisal to Uche to TC Gogo, Kelvin Marvel, Real K, Viral Moments, Otumba Salamsu. We also had There was somebody that I missed. I can't remember who it was. But thank you to every person that supported. Thank you to all the regulars on the program. I see you, Stepmonic, Charles, Onwama, Sports Grinder. Thank you for always tuning in. Anoli from India, thank you for always tuning in. We really appreciate you. Logistics Jeff, thank you very much. XXX, even though you're always coming to fight, thank you very much. Adeola as well, thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging with us. And if I didn't mention your name, thank you too. Smith Layi, final word before we go.
Yeah, another edition. Nice start show would be here. I wish the team the very best of luck on Friday. I hope they can actually what win. Tomorrow, Nigeria play against Cameroon, so we'll enjoy the game tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone, please tune in for the game tomorrow. Nigeria versus Cameroon. Super
Yeah.
Falcons in action as they prepare for the WAFCON coming up next month. And I would just say, NFF, I understand that situations are not under control right now in terms of players dropping in and out of the squad. But please let us not set a bad precedent in terms of how we get called, how players get calls up to the national team. Let players earn their call ups. That way, there is more cherished. That way, I don't have to deal with players from Malaysia texting me and saying, "Bro, I beg, who you fear me talk to, make me self get call up." Let's make things fair. Let's make things based on merit. Somebody like Christantus Uche worked hard and got his call up rightfully so.
Yeah.
So let everybody be like that. When they play well, when everybody can see what they are doing, they get called up.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where I would leave it for tonight. Thank you very much. As
Thank you.
always, this has been the Niger FC podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is AyoT and my co-host is.
Smith Layi. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.